Hello, West Michigan sports fans. I am Mark Kimball. I'm president of the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame. This is our 50th year, and in our 50th year, we like to sit around and chat about all the great things that have happened in the world of sports in our community. I need your help in helping me remember which of those athletes, teams, and events were the most important or the most fun for you to participate in. We're running a series of surveys that are asking for your input in identifying your favorite sporting event over the last 50 years. Some of my favorite events were the very first Whitecaps game or the very first Hoops game. What were your favorite events? And then I like to think about who are the best athletes that we've seen in the last 50 years, both from a female and a male perspective. And finally, tell me who your favorite team is and what they accomplished over the last 50 years. I look forward to hearing from you on your favorite sports memories.
Call it a sense of purpose, a higher calling. At Dean Transportation, we call it our passion. It's simply who we are. 60 years of pioneering the best health and safety standards because safe student transportation is essential. We are hard-working folks, connecting children to learning, schools to our communities, and you to a better career. Want to make your community a better place? We'll put you in the driver's seat. Join the Dean family today and help to connect our kids to brighter futures.
Weights have been lifted. Sprints have been run. Preparation for today's game is history. It's time to get it done. You're listening on MichiganSportsRadio.com.
We're on the shores of Reeds Lake for a matchup between two perennial West Michigan powers, East Grand Rapids High School and Grand Rapids South Christian High School. My name is Bob Sack. I'll have all the play-by-play for you tonight. John Wasink will join us in a moment with his analysis. Tim Chenoweth is here with the stats. Todd Scrotenboer is handling the controls, and we are delighted you've chosen to join us on this beautiful Thursday evening, the first week of September in West Michigan. Pleasure to welcome in the broadcast booth tonight for his season launch with the Michigan Sports Radio and Sailor Zone team. John Wasink joins us, as he will each and every week for the remainder of this season. And John, it's Labor Day weekend. You're on the sidelines. Your career had wonderful nights here in high school, great Saturday afternoons. You get to September, how does it feel to have football season back? Isn't it great?
Oh, it's awesome. There's almost nothing better than football season starting up, and I mean, you can't beat this weather tonight in this atmosphere.
I suppose I should tell you, make sure to hit me if I happen to gaze longingly across the lake and see all the sailboats. It's that kind of a night here. It's just an absolute beautiful night for football. And we have got a terrific matchup tonight. South Christian comes into this game, obviously on the heels of a 42-7 dismantling of their arch rival, Grand Rapids Christian. John, you played in a lot of rivalry games over the years. How vital and how valuable is it for the Sailors, or any team for that matter, to start the season with that sort of a win against their arch rival?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's a huge confidence booster. I mean, in team camp, sometimes you might think you have a good team and you're not quite sure, but to start off that first game with a major victory over your rival like that, is a huge confidence boost for the team, and I think it's going to carry over hopefully for them tonight.
42-7 was the final last week. South Christian really dominating from start to finish. Their biggest win over the Eagles since 1996. They outgained Grand Rapids Christian at nearly double. They gained 7 yards per play to 3.5 yards per play to the Eagles. Just totally dominated the game, 26-8 in first downs. And yet, Danny Brown found things that he wasn't happy about. He gave him a pretty good tongue lashing in the locker room at halftime, and he knows they can play better, and they'll certainly need to tonight against East Grand Rapids. Pioneers, on the other hand, come into this game really on the other end of the spectrum. Give them credit. In week one, they traveled to Rockford and really played above. Rockford, clearly one of the powers year in and year out in the state of Michigan at the highest level. East goes up north last week, falls 48-7. Get this, John, the worst defeat in the history of the school's football program for East Grand Rapids. So it was a tough Friday. How does that translate into tonight, just from a psyche standpoint, knowing that you met a great team in Rockford, and yet it did not go well?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first couple series of this game are going to be big for that reason. You know, East coming off that huge defeat, you know, we'll see how they come out to start the game. And same thing with South coming off a big win. Sometimes those first few drives of the game, you got to be locked in no matter what happened the week before. And each game's independent of the last one. So just because somebody got blown out and the other team blew somebody else out, that has no bearing on how you play tonight.
Well, and here's the other thing I would ask you. Let's be honest. Rockford is a really, really good football program. And we'll ask Zach Blackwire this in a few moments on the Sobey Coaches Show, but how well does the film of that game for South Christian translate into tonight? Obviously, South is really good too, but perhaps not at the level of a Rockford.
Right. I mean, I will say one thing. I watched some of the film, actually, of the East Grand Rapids-Rockford game, and the game was a lot closer than the score. You know, it wasn't, you know, they were really, it wasn't just an absolute blowout like the score would have shown. It was a closer game than it looked.
All right, we'll tell you more about it when we come back. When we return, we'll be joined by offensive coordinator Zach Blackwire on the Sobey Coaches Show. That's coming up on Michigan Sports Radio and the Sailor Zone.
Bowling is a great time that combines great friends, football, and bowling. Compete against your friends or family, throwing a football at 10 real bowling pins. You can bring in your own food, or they have a pair of 45-foot bars featuring soft drinks and adult beverages. Visit FoldingWarehouse.com, Grand Rapids, to reserve your lanes.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
For over 60 years, Earhart Construction has successfully built some of the most well-known structures and facilities across the West Michigan landscape. Providing a distinctive construction experience for our clients has been Earhart's priority since the beginning, and it continues to be their primary focus today. We can't wait to make your next commercial or residential project a reality. Contact us today by visiting earhartcc.com.
Are you looking for a new career? Aetna Supply is hiring. Aetna Supply is Michigan's #1 plumber wholesaler, servicing local customers for over 50 years. They offer great benefits, a 401k with company match, quarterly bonuses, and no Sundays. Once again, check them out at aetnasupply.com/careers or click on their logo on the Michigan Sports Radio homepage. If you are 18 years of age or older, AHC Hospitality is hiring for several open positions at its downtown hotels. Starting pay is $16 an hour paid weekly with medical, dental, health benefits, hotel discounts, and more. Positions include front desk, housekeeping, restaurant, and management roles at our 5 premier downtown hotels. Visit ahcjobs.com to jumpstart your career at one of 5 world-class hotels in downtown Grand Rapids, including the Amway Grand Plaza and the JW Marriott Grand Rapids. Again, visit ahcjobs.com. Time to have your vehicle repaired? You can trust the experienced team at Bob's Collision. Working with state-of-the-art technology, your vehicle will be repaired by highly trained craftsmen using the most modern and up-to-date equipment available. From minor dings to major collision repair, the team at the Bob's Collision Auto Repair Shop has the experience, knowledge, and equipment to expertly restore your vehicle to its pre-accident condition. Visit them online at bobscollision.com.
Welcome back to East Grand Rapids Memorial Field. Bob Sack alongside offensive coordinator Zach Blackwire for the Sobey Coaches Show. First of all, Zach, congrats on an incredibly impressive game last week, 42-7 over the arch rival, and yet I know you guys thought you left a lot on the table. What were some of the things that you took away that you really liked, and maybe one thing that you thought we could do much better next week?
You know, I think before the game I said that I was nervous that the line was going to pick up stunts, and, you know, being the first game of the season, were they going to recognize different defensive fronts and all of that kind of stuff. I was very pleased with the way they blocked. Obviously, we had a takeaway. Nate got it stripped from him in the game, and, you know, you can't have those kind of things if you want to be an elite team and beat a team like East Grand Rapids.
East Grand Rapids falls 48-7 to Rockford. Worst defeat that the school's ever had. You watch that film, and South Christian's a really good team, but let's be honest, Rockford is a high level of high school football. How do you translate the film that you watched to a game like tonight?
Well, I was actually at that game. I went and scouted it last Thursday, and I thought East came out pretty tough. Rockford has 80 kids, and everybody's playing offense or defense. And so, you know, they were running some things that a smaller school like us can't run. But looking at that game and the film, I just got a lot of respect for East Grand Rapids. They have a very good team, and I want to make sure that our kids didn't look at that score and overlook them because it's East Grand Rapids.
Josh Shattuck's the new coach this year. What do you see this year that's different about how you'll attack them based on their schemes that are under the new coaching staff?
They're always going to have good coaches. They're always going to have good players. What they do a lot offensively is they motion a lot. So you're going to see a lot of motion tonight. Defensively is a little bit different. I've always faced a 5-man front, and what I'm seeing on film is a 4-man front. And so I think they'll try to take away our pass.
All right, Zach Blackwire, thanks. Sobey Coaches Show brought to you by Sobey. Good luck. When we return, we'll be back, joined by John Wasink with tonight's keys to the game.
What would you do with some extra time? Shop Fastlane today.
Somebody once said life moves pretty fast, and that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
Welcome back to Memorial Field. Bob Sack alongside John Wasink as we get you ready for kickoff just moments away. East Grand Rapids and South Christian, what should be a terrific interconference matchup between these two perennial West Michigan powers. John, let's talk about the game tonight. You mentioned a few minutes ago just the need for the opening minutes to be established by either team. What are your keys to the game tonight?
Yeah, that's my first key is the first couple of drives. You know, coming off a big loss against Rockford, East is going to have to get something going early to keep their confidence up. And same thing for South Christian. They got to come out firing on all cylinders, even though they had a big win last week. it's independent of that game this week, so you got to come out firing. And second key is turnovers. Turnovers are always a huge thing in football. Whoever takes care of the ball the best usually wins the game. So that's another key. And then my last key is those 50-50 balls in the passing game. Those kind of jump balls. Last week, East Grand Rapids kind of lost a lot of those against Rockford, and that's really what kind of ballooned the game up for Rockford. And so look for those 50-50 balls in the passing game on both sides of the ball to be a big key tonight.
Those receivers that you mentioned for South Christian, let's talk about those guys for a second. We'll hit on them during the game. Pretty impressive last week, just the sheer size of that receiving core. 6'4" with Carson Viss, 6'3" with Brady Nitt, 6'2" with Jake Vermas, Seth Risma 6'2". That's as large of a receiving core as I've ever seen. Love the way Zach Blackwire and Jake DeHaan went to the fade routes, utilizing those guys. From what you saw with East Grand Rapids secondary, Rockford picked it apart last week. How does that, again, translate to the South passing game?
Right. I mean, I think last week for East, their DBs just sometimes mistime their jumps on some of those balls in the air and whatnot. I'm sure they worked on that this week in practice. But, yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, South's got tall, and not only tall, but they're athletic. They can jump, and they got enough speed, too. So look for South to go back to some of those fades and just give their athletes chances to make plays.
All right, just moments away from our national anthem from the East Grand Rapids Band. Last year, these two teams met for the 6th time. East Grand Rapids prevailed again. Pioneers have won all 6 matchups in this season, or in this historical series. They've only played 6 times, surprising for two schools that have had such great success over the years. The final last year was 30-21. That game played at East Kentwood. Again, probably closer than the score indicated. South Christian, you mentioned it, that game had 4 turnovers. Interestingly, Jake DeHaan threw 3 picks that game and never threw another one until the last game of the year last year. So that's the kind of quarterback he is in terms of maturation from the beginning to the end of the season, and makes him so special this year. But the turnovers certainly will be a key. South Christian actually trailed in the game last year 30-7 at one point, and then battled back and had a chance in the fourth quarter to get it into a one-score game. All right, Sailors taking the field. Just moments away from the kickoff, and what a delight to have this setting and this scene of a great crowd filing into Memorial Field, and now the East Grand Rapids Band with tonight's national anthem.
National anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
Beautiful Reeds Lake in the background. A little regatta going on here on this Labor Day weekend. The football season kicking off this last week, of course, but really in full gear with games starting tonight at the high school level and the college level. And as you said earlier, John, what a great weekend to kick off the 2022 football season. East Grand Rapids returns only 5 starters from last year's team that went 3-6. They were 2-5 in the white. It was their worst record since 2000. So a lot of years with, of course, Pete Sturzma at the helm. John, when you were playing here at South Christian, they won 5 straight titles from 6 to 10, actually a little bit before your time at South. But a program that's just had incredible tradition, 11 state championships over the years, and you can just feel the tradition ooze from Memorial Field.
No doubt about it. I mean, even I never played them in high school, but like you said, they just had tremendous runs even before my time, and even when I was playing, they were always good. And South's got great tradition too. This is just a powerhouse matchup here tonight, and should be a really good one.
Pioneers coached again by Josh Shattuck, his first year. He came to East Grand Rapids from Elkhart High School in Indiana, 14-6 over the last 2 years. Played his college ball at Alma College over on the east side of Michigan, and got into coaching at Gladwin High School before migrating south to Indiana. He's the new coach, and you'll see some new schemes from the Pioneers, both on the offensive side and the defensive side. We'll talk about that as the night wears on. East Grand Rapids won the toss, and they deferred to the second half, so Nick Collins will tee it up at the 40. He's going to kick deep to Charlie Skur. And Jackson Hake standing at his 8-yard line. So here we go on this gorgeous Thursday evening. Great to have you along with us on the Sailor Zone and Michigan Sports Radio. The Pioneers and the Sailors. Collins run up, sends a high end over and kick that'll take Jackson Hake into the end zone. That's a touchback, 1st and 10 at the 20 for South Christian. Let's set that Sailor offense. Up front, the big fella's left tackle is Cam Post, the 6'4", 250-pound senior. The right tackle is Kendon Fenema, 6'1", 190-pound senior. The guards are Josh Harkema, 5'8", 195-pound senior. He wears number 68. Alex Muhlenberg is a junior at center. Right guard is Cam Van Solkema, number 77, 6'3", 275 pounds. We'll set the skill positions in a moment. The quarterback is Jake DeHaan, number 5. Nate Brinks is his running back to the left. Looks over a 3-man front on first down, drops back to throw, slings it out right flat, complete to Ritzma. A lot of real estate, run out of bounds, but not before he picked up 14 yards. It was Ritzma with the grab, driven out of bounds by Jack Higgins, starting at quarterback. For South Christian, 2 wideouts to the right and the left. DeHaan straight back to throw, again left flat, complete to an open Jake Vermas. Outside the numbers, he's close to a first down. And John, it looks like this offense to start is scripted. They know what they're doing right from the outset.
Yeah, 2 quick plays in a row. I think it was the same exact play, actually. Just 2 little out routes by the slot receivers there, spread them out a little bit. Must have known what they liked that play on film and just ran it twice in a row.
Carson Viss, the sophomore receiver, split wide to the right. Vermas in the slot right. DeHaan will run the read option to the left. He's got a first down. Jeremy James finally dragged him down at the 47, 48-yard line. That's that read option. John, was that a run-pass option or straight inside zone or outside zone read by Jake?
Yeah, that was an outside zone read. You call it a power read. The line is blocking a power running scheme, and the running back is going kind of outside, and if the end takes the running back, Jake pulls it down.
1st and 10 for the Sailors at the 47. Nate Brinks takes the handoff from DeHaan and crashes behind the left guard. He's hit initially by Nick Rowland. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5 at the 48, and Danny Brown's offense is off to a really good start here on this first possession. From the 48, Brady Nitz split wide to the right. Play action pass to Honda throw. He's got a man open. That is Nitz at the 32 along the left sideline, dragged down by Millman, but not before he picked up 18 yards and another first down. South Christian has been perfect in this initial drive.
Yeah, great job by the offensive line up front for South. Really controlling the line there. I mean, Jake had plenty of time to throw there, came off the play action, and had time to let that route develop all the way across the field.
This, the sophomore receiver, Vermas, the junior slot receiver, Ritzma, senior slot receiver, and Brady Nitz, a senior wide receiver, number 18. Now Ritzma moves to the H-back. They send Brinks in motion, fake the swing pass. Jake keeps it right up the middle. Lunges forward for about 4 yards before Nick Collins dragged him by the ankles and held him to a 4-yard gain.
That right there might have been a run-pass option. Kind of sent the back out of the backfield to the wide side of the field, and he saw a linebacker run with him, and so he kind of faked like he was maybe going to throw it out there, and then pulled it down for the run play.
2nd and 7 at the 27. DeHaan fakes, and it's picked off on the quick slant route by Nick Collins. What a play by the senior defensive end. I don't think Jake saw him. Nick Collins slid in front of that slant route, picked it off, and returned it to the 34.
That was a tremendous play by East Grand Rapids defensive end. I mean, even if Jake saw him, I still don't blame him for throwing the ball, because he was basically being engaged by the tackle, meaning the left tackle and the defensive end were making contact, and he just saw that Jake was throwing the ball, and he just put his hands up and he snagged that thing.
South Christian turned back after an impressive drive on the opening possession. 1st and 10 for the Pioneers at their own 34. The quarterback is Bergstrom. He'll turn and give to Drew Caswell, the running back, trying to find room around the left end. Turns it upfield to the 38, picked up about 4. Let's set that Pioneer offense for you. The quarterback is senior Preston Bergstrom, number 8. Running back is Drew Caswell, another senior. He picked up 74 yards last year in this game against the Sailors. The wide receivers are Ian McKeegan, number 1, a junior. Liam O'Malley, number 5, a junior. And Nick Collins, who just picked off that pass, number 7, a senior. H-back is Jeremy James when he's in the game, number 22. 2nd down and 5 from the 39. Bergstrom turns, gives it to Caswell again. Straight up the gut. Picked up about 4 to the 41. Hit there by 10.5. And it'll set up a 3rd down and 3.
It's a big play right here. After that turnover, if you're East Grand Rapids, you can't let that turnover go to waste right here, especially the way South was driving the ball. They had a great drive going, and this is a huge play right here.
From their own 41, Pioneers will run a lot of different formations, all spreading the field. Last year under Casey Longo was a power I offense, but this is definitely a spread. Collins in motion. He'll block for Caswell, who picks his way over right guard near a 1st down. I think he got it. Jake Cashin pulled him down at the 45, but Drew Caswell on 3 consecutive carries gives the Pioneers their first down. So Nick Collins with the first big play of the game with that interception at the 28-yard line, stifling a very efficient South Christian drive. The rest of that East Grand Rapids offense has up front Robbie Kowaleski, a senior tackle, number 71. It's Jeremy James in motion as the H-back 22. They run a reverse 30 to the 27. Little misdirection, John, set up by those 3 consecutive inside running plays.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how South adjusts to the amount of motion that East Grand Rapids uses on offense. It seems like they probably motion basically every single play, and that changes the formation, that changes the defensive scheme and how you need to fit the run plays. That's going to be huge to see how South adjusts to the motion tonight.
So Nick Collins with a 22-yard run after the interception. 1st and 10. Caswell's got it again. Whistle, though. And I don't see a flag. Officials timeout. I think they needed to set the chains, and that's what they did. So 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. Collins out of the game now. Rest of that offensive line for the Pioneers has George Berniker at left guard. He's a junior, number 65. The center is Max Torres, number 69, a senior. Right guard is Captain Jake Potter, number 59, and Jacob Kraus is at right tackle, number 50. 1st and 10. Caswell again has it off left tackle, spins into the arms of Ben Mulder, and battles his way inside the 25 to about the 24, gain of 4. So a steady diet of Drew Caswell thus far. He carried 18 times last week at Rockford for 40 yards. It's just 2.5 yards a carry. Tonight he's already ran the football 4 times of their 5 plays.
Yeah, East Grand Rapids offensive line's doing a really good job at the point of attack. They're really getting a couple good double teams in there. The running back hasn't hit any huge plays yet, but
Caswell's got it again. A sweep around the left edge. He turns the corner and Bowles his way inside the 20 to about the 17. Post was there to make the stop. But again, the Pioneers move the chains. Their third first down.
If you're South, you got to beware for a little play action pass right now. They haven't even thrown it yet, and can't get lulled to sleep by all those run plays. You got to, if you're those safeties in those corners, you got to stay home and stay on your man.
Patrick Bergstrom was 7 for 9 last week at Rockford, so he can throw. Senior quarterback saw action last year. On first down, Collins on the jet sweep. Tries to get to the edge, hemmed in by Ritzma, breaks that tackle. Still won't go down. Finally, Charlie DeHaan wrestles him to the ground. No gain for the Pioneers on that first down play. Collins is the leader of this team. Defensively, he's their top tackle guy. And already he's been very active on the offensive end. Caught a 59-yard pass last week against Rockford to set up East Grand Rapids' only score of the game.
Yeah, you can tell he's just a very good athlete. Strong, big, fast. He's a good player.
Ian McKeegan flanked to the wide side, the left side on 2nd and 8. The give is to Caswell right there to meet him is Ethan Nienhuis, who busted through the offensive line and stood up. Caswell for a loss of 1 yard sets up a big third down here at the 22-yard line.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what East comes up with here. They haven't even thrown it yet. It sounds like with only 9 pass attempts in the first game, they don't specialize in throwing the ball, but we'll see what they do here on a 3rd and 9.
Charlie Hoekstra is number 11, the wide receiver to the left side. That's where Bergstrom's looking. He throws short underneath to Caswell. The ball was tipped at the line, though, and it falls to the ground, incomplete. Good coverage by South. John, I don't think they would have had the first down because the linebacker post had flowed over nicely to handle Caswell in the left flat. So 4th and 9, decision time for Josh Shattuck, and he looks like he's going to try the field goal here.
Yeah, good red zone defense there by South. They finally stifled a couple of those 1st and 2nd down run plays, and I think that's going to be a big key tonight for South's defense going against East's offense is those 1st and 2nd down run plays.
Bergstrom will hold at the 23-yard line. Collins on to attempt a 33-yard field goal from the right hash. Here comes the rush. He gets it through, though, and drills it. Nick Collins opens the game with a 33-yard field goal, and with 4:08 to go in this fast-moving first quarter, East Grand Rapids strikes first on the Collins field goal after the Collins interception and helped by the Collins 22-yard run. Pretty good work by Nick Collins on that particular drive. Hey, do you have a youth athlete looking to improve their game this fall? Michigan Sports Academies has fall clinics for volleyball, basketball, soccer, and lacrosse starting this September. They focus on quality coaching and have state-of-the-art facilities. Programs are offered for athletes from kindergarten through high school. Visit www.michigansportsacademies.com for more information. This week's Family Fare Tailgate Special of the Week. What else but ground beef for $1.97 a pound? John, if you had to be at any tailgate at all this weekend with some Family Fare burgers, what game would you pick?
I mean, I'd have to pick Western Michigan and Michigan State.
Good answer. Yeah. Former South Christian State champion and star at Western Michigan, John Wasik, answering that question correctly. Tim Lester would be proud. So a scoring drive by the Pioneers puts them on top 3-0.
Yeah, 9 plays, 66 yards there. After that Collins interception, really the big play in that drive was that reverse to Collins. All the other plays were less than probably 6 or 7 yards.
Collins line drive taken by Skjur at the 7. He angles toward the left sideline and then is dumped at the numbers by Tommy Kavanaugh at about the 27-yard line. So good starting position for South Christian. Jake DeHaan had it going on that first drive, just very efficient. How often is that initial drive scripted, literally play by play?
Yeah, it depends on the coaching staff. when I was in college, we scripted typically the first like 15 plays, but that also depends on whether you hit a third down and long or something like that. Then it's usually not a scripted play. But
Jake on 1st and 10, play action long down the right sideline to Carson Visk. A lot of contact out there with Sammy Millman. No flag, though. No, there it comes in late. Yep, comes in late. No doubt that was interference. Carson Visk just tackled by Millman.
Yeah, there's one of those fade balls that we talked about pregame that are going to be key in this game. And looks like the refs are kind of talking it over. One of them didn't throw the flag that was probably closest to it, actually, and the other one threw a flag. But see what they do here.
They wave it off. How about that? They wave it off. What's going through the mind of the officials to make that counter call?
I bet the guy that was closest on the near sideline here, since he was closest and he didn't call it, I bet that guy in the back said, well, it's kind of your call, I guess, since he was closest, but maybe that's what they were thinking.
At any rate, DeHaan's misfire results in 2nd and 10 from the 27 for South Christian. Straight back to throw. Jake guns it left flat to Vermas. He's got it along the sidelines, run out of bounds there by Kavanaugh. Picked up 7, so here's a big third down play with 3:52 to go in the first quarter.
It was a great second down play call there. We always used to say on second and long, you want to try to get half and cut that third down play down to 3rd and short. And that was a great play call, good execution.
Pioneers go man coverage on this 3rd and 3. They give us to Brinks with a lot of room around the left edge. He's got a first down. Good blocking out there by Cam Van Solkema pulling. Nate Brinks, a pickup of 8 yards and a first down at the 45.
Yeah, there's that power read play, and Nate, that time the defensive end kind of shrunk down and stayed inside, and he handed it off to Nate Brinks around the outside. Same play here.
This time DeHaan fakes it to Brinks, keeps it up the middle, and drives for 9 more before he's finally brought down by Alex Collins. Picked up 8 to the 47. It's an up-tempo offense for South Christian here in the first quarter.
No, and I like that idea too. Collins is obviously playing a lot of snaps on both sides of the ball. You might as well take advantage of some tempo.
A lot of time for Jake. He slings it across the middle. He's got Seth Ritzma complete at the 35, falls forward to the 33 before Liam O'Malley covered up there. Another first down. Good throw by Jake DeHaan.
Made by number 13, Alex Collins.
Yeah, great job bouncing back here by Jake DeHaan. I mean, I didn't expect anything less from him, being a senior quarterback and being experienced. But, whenever you throw a pick, it's never fun. It's never fun, and he's bouncing back really well here.
3 wideouts to the left. DeHaan will keep it. Almost tripped over his own player, Fenema, and then is snowed under right at the line of scrimmage by the Pioneers. Jesse James in to make the stop. Looks like he disrupted that play a little bit by tripping in over Fenema's legs. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9 with 2.5 to go here in the first quarter. Try to set that EGR defense. We haven't had a chance. The game's moved along so quickly. Up front, the tackles are Jake Potter, the senior captain, along with Kirby Van Zee. Nick Collins and Alex Collins, no relation, are the outside backers. Inside, Jeremy James and Nick Rowland. On 2nd and 9 for Jake DeHaan. Brings some running back to his right. Jake will fake to him, throw deep down the right sideline to Viss. He's got him at the goal line. Touchdown, South Christian. Carson Viss beats Scotty Millman down the right sideline for a 32-yard touchdown. Lofton, the Sailors, as you said, John, under the arm, behind the arm of Jake DeHaan, responded beautifully on that drive.
Yeah, what a great play there. And really, Carson just ran past him that time. That wasn't even a jump ball. That was just Carson just ran right by him, and Jake threw a great ball there. And great play call, too. We call that formation into the boundary. They put more of the skill players to the boundary of the field and left Carson by himself to all the green grass. And just isolated him one-on-one and went to work.
Nate Brinks converts the extra point with 2:02 to go. South Christian on top 7-3. We'll take a break on MichiganSportsRadio.com and the Sailor Zone.
Cornerstone University.
The professors are very open to helping whenever they can.
Academic excellence, character-driven athletics, Christ-centered community involvement.
Cornerstone has been a great opportunity for me to grow as a leader, just being able to approach people and be warm and welcoming and hospitable.
Experience it for yourself. Attend a Golden Eagle Day at Cornerstone for a taste of campus life and the chance to meet faculty and staff. To arrange a visit for your high school junior or senior, go to cornerstone.edu. Cornerstone University. Build a life that matters.
Need to replace that worn-out carpet or floor? Floor Coverings International makes it easy. They bring their mobile showroom to you. Save yourself the trip and gas shopping around. See a wide selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and vinyl in the lighting of your own home. Go to floorcoveringsinternational.com today for your free consultation. Work with one team for a hassle-free experience from the quote to installation. And each Floor Coverings International business is independently owned and operated, so they are local business owners in our community. Floor Coverings International, the flooring store at your door.
Back at Memorial Field on the shores of Reeds Lake, Bob Sack alongside John Wassink. South Christian has responded beautifully after that turnover, driving for that score and leading 7-3. Nate Brinks will tee it up at the 40. And in just a moment, we'll tell you about that scoring drive. Brinks' run-up sends a high end-over-end kick, taken at the 3. By McKeegan. He's got space as he angles toward the left sideline. Blockers in front, outside the numbers of the 40, the 50, and finally nudged out of bounds by Brinks at the 47, but not before he returned that kickoff 50 yards into South Christian territory. Gives Patrick Bergstrom great field position. John, the South Christian scoring drive was a beauty.
Yeah, it was. Great response by South after that opening drive turnover. Only 6 plays, 73 yards, only took 2 minutes off the clock. They've kind of been using some of that tempo, and it only took 2 minutes and 1 second. And, yeah, what a great response. And then what a great response right here by East Grand Rapids. You can already tell this is going to be a game of some momentum swings, and it's going to take some good plays by both teams to stifle those momentum swings.
Bergstrom fakes to Caswell on first down. Guns it left flat, complete to Collins, driven down immediately by Vermas. Short gain of 2 yards on that quick tunnel screen, we call it.
Yeah, a little, tunnel screen's one way to call it. They didn't, typically on a tunnel screen is probably when they release offensive linemen to go block. That was just kind of a wide receiver screen. Sometimes you call it a bubble screen, something like that.
We'll have John Wassink's Football Glossary 101 for me a little bit later on tonight. On 2nd down and 9, rollout by Bergstrom. He'll miss that pass as he threw it into the hands of Hoekstra, but Charlie Hoekstra couldn't control it. Incomplete, 3rd and 8 from the 45.
Really looks like if East is going to throw the ball, they really try to get the ball out of the QB's hands quickly. And so if you're South, you got to beware of those motions, and they really use those motions to try to create numbers in the run game and in the pass game to try to get more blockers than you have defenders. So far, South's done a pretty good job of adjusting to those motions.
South Christian defensive line has Gabe Kisner, 79, and Cam Van Solkum at the tackles. Will set the rest on after this 3rd and 8 play. Bergstrom straight back to throw deep down the left sideline. He's got Collins at the 20, and the question is, did he have a foot in? And he did. The 19-yard line over the outstretched arms of Jake Vermas. Great throw by Bergstrom on that 26-yard play. John, Bergstrom was rocked by, I think it was post or 10-half coming off the right side, but he hung in there and floated a beauty of a pass down to Collins.
Yeah, great throw. Way to stand in there by the QB and put enough air on it where Collins could kind of adjust to it. It wasn't a perfect throw, but put enough air on it so the receiver could adjust.
Caswell has the handoff on 1st and 10. Room over the left side, inside the 15, down to the 14 before Ritzma came up to make the stop. With 58 seconds to go here in the first quarter, South Christian up 7-3.
2nd and 5 from the Sailor 14.
The rest of that South Christian defense, Ethan Nienhuis is the senior defensive tackle, number 54. The ends are Cam Post, 55, and Sawyer Tenhoff, 31. Tenhoff, 6'6", 225, Post 6'4", 250. Inside backers are Ben Mulder, 27, and Jake Cashin, 45. On 2nd down, Caswell's got it again. Cuts back against the grain inside the 15, only a yard or so. Stood up there by Post. Sets up 3rd down and 4. Another big 3rd down play here, which we may wait till the second quarter to see. Rest of that Sailor defense. Corners are Jake Vermas, number 2. And tonight at corner for South Christian is Tanner Rock, 15. He'll trade time a little bit with Hake and DeHaan, and the safeties are Ritzma and Austin Thies. But that's going to be the end of the first quarter. Great ball game to start out here. 7-3, South Christian on top. We'll step aside when we come back. Have the second quarter for you on Michigan Sports Radio and the Sailor Zone.
In 1969, J&H Family Stores has grown from a single tank truck to over 50 convenience store locations in West Michigan. Our locations offer a variety of fuel options ranging from Exxon, Mobil, Marathon, and Citgo. At many of our stores, you'll also be pleased to find a Tim Hortons or Subway. Find the location near you by visiting myjhfamilystores.com. There's one in your neighborhood.
Located just 20 minutes from Grand Rapids and Kent City, the Falls at Barber Creek is one of Michigan's premier golfing destinations. The beautifully designed 18-hole public golf course welcomes golfers of all ages and skill levels. Its challenging track with dramatic elevation changes through breathtaking scenery, including a 40-foot waterfall, makes it a place you're definitely going to want to play. Check out the course with a drone flyover and reserve your tee times at thefallsatbc.com.
Somebody once said life moves pretty fast, and that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
Back at beautiful East Grand Rapids Memorial Field, we start the second quarter. Bob Sack alongside John Wasink. Big 3rd down and 4 for East Grand Rapids. Patrick Bergstrom will run the read option there. He faked to Caswell and then was just swallowed up by Ben Mulder and Seth Ritzma. And South Christian forces a 4th down again for the Pioneers. Terrific pursuit there and a great read by that Sailor defense. Nick Collins on to attempt the field goal, and it's got to feel good for Danny Brown's defense, Andrew Burgess' defense, 2 straight red zone stops.
Yeah, that's huge. Whenever you can, as a defense, if you hold the opposing offense to a field goal in the red zone, that's always a win. Always a win for the defense.
Collins hit from 33 moments ago. Now he'll try from 32. Hold is good. This time he just sneaks it in inside the left upright. And these Pioneers strike again off the foot of Nick Collins. 7-6 now with 11:10 to go here in the first half. Questions about the real estate market? Broker Amanda Volkers with Prestige Home Group at City to Shore is your local real estate expert. She has 20 years of experience that will help you navigate the tricky real estate market, whether you are buying or selling. Click the logo on the Byron Center or South Christian page of the Michigan Sports Radio site, or find her online at amandavolkers.com. Lindhout Painting has been in the commercial residential business for over 35 years, working in the greater Grand Rapids area. They specialize in interior remodels as well as new construction. They're a second-generation family-owned business with a Christ-centered mindset that will continues to serve. That's Lindhout Painting.
Yeah, 7-play, 47-yard field goal drive there by East Grand Rapids, really set up by that long pass to Collins there down the sideline. And but yeah, again, good stop by South to hold them to a field goal.
The aforementioned Collins will tee it up at the 40. He'll kick deep to Charlie Skur and Jackson Hake. Flag is still, so no win. It's a high short kick. Hake will take it on the run, but he'll let it bounce at the 18, picks it up alertly, and then is hemmed in and swallowed up at the 18-yard line. Good pursuit by the Pioneers. John Cantor led the charge there for East Grand Rapids.
I always get nervous when the ball bounces on a kickoff. It's always you never know which way that thing's going to bounce, and especially that one, that kind of landed around the, 15, 20-yard line, and East Grand Rapids guys were getting pretty close to it, actually, after it bounced, so it always makes me nervous.
Each team has had 2 possessions, and both teams have moved the ball. South Christian on their first possession drove the length of the field before the big interception by Collins. On 1st and 10, they pull Van Solkema. Brinks tries to get outside, but he's not going anywhere as Kirby Van Zee slid through on that right defensive tackle side and dropped him for a loss.
Yeah, there's that power read option again. I think if you were to ask Jake DeHaan there, I think he would say that he should have pulled that one down because he handed it to Nate, and the guy that he was reading ended up tackling Nate, and so I think he probably would have pulled that one down if he had that one over.
Inside linebackers for East Grand Rapids are Nick Rowland, number 10, and Jeremy James, number 22. Safety is Liam O'Malley, 5. 2nd and 13. DeHaan will roll right. Here comes the rush. He'll turn it upfield. He's got a little bit of room. Cuts back against the grain out over the 25 and tackled at the left hash by Jack Higgins. That's some athleticism by Jake DeHaan, making something out of nothing.
Yeah, that's a huge plus as an offense when you got a guy behind center that can make a good play out of nothing. That's for sure.
Scotty Millman is the wide side corner for East Grand Rapids. Patrick Cavanaugh, the boundary corner. Higgins and O'Malley are the safeties. 1st and 10. Quick out from DeHaan to Ritzma. Outside the right numbers. He's got it at the 35 and then plunges forward to the 36. Higgins there for the stop. Picked up 7.
There's that little out pattern again. South's run that play probably about 4 times now. Just a go route by the guy on the outside and an out route by the slot receiver. And East Grand Rapids is playing soft enough with their corners and safeties that play seems to be there.
Taking what the defense gives. Here's Jake DeHaan on 2nd down and 3. Brinks hard off right tackle. Big hole over the right side and pushes his way out to the midfield stripe before he's run out of bounds by Cavanaugh. That's a 14-yard barrel by Nate Brinks, and he really accelerated well behind the line of scrimmage that time.
So far, it seems like South's offensive line has mostly had their way with East Grand Rapids' defensive line for the most part. And that's always a huge key to every football game is the up-front battle.
3-man defensive front shown by Josh Shattuck's Pioneers. Play action. DeHaan wide open over the middle is Nitz. He's got it at the 25. It's a foot race to the goal line. And Brady Nitz will win it for the South Christian touchdown. 50-yard strike from DeHaan to Nitz. He did the rest, snuck behind the safety. And the Sailors lead it 13-6.
Yeah, breakdown and coverage by East Grand Rapids there, but it was really set up by, I think it was Vermas in the slot there, ran that out route that they ran about 4 times, and it's only human instinct to try to jump that, and the corner jumped it, the safety jumped it, and it's just a wide open post down the middle of the field.
Brinks on to attempt the extra point. Out of the Vermas hole, and he drills it through. And South Christian tallies again to take a 14-6 lead. 9:10 to go here in the second half. We'll take a break on Michigan Sports Radio on the Sailor Zone.
Sense of purpose, a higher calling. At Dean Transportation, we call it our passion. It's simply who we are. 60 years of pioneering the best health and safety standards because safe student transportation is essential. We are hard-working folks, connecting children to learning, schools to our communities, and you to a better career. Want to make your community a better place? We'll put you in the driver's seat. Join the Dean family today and help to connect our kids to brighter futures.
AHC Hospitality is hiring those 18 years or older for several open positions at its downtown hotels. Starting pay is $16 an hour paid weekly with medical, dental, health benefits, hotel discounts, and more. Visit ahcjobs.com to jumpstart your future career.
Well, John Wasik, if you're going to trade scores, I think I'd rather be on the trading side of touchdowns than field goals, because that's what's happened so far. South Christian scores twice. East Grand Rapids scores twice. The difference in the game, though, is TDs versus field goals.
No doubt about it. Five plays, 82 yards there for South, ended with a 50-yard touchdown pass from DeHaan to Nitz. Under 2 minutes, too, at minute 58.
Brinks drives that end-over-end kick into the end zone for a touchback. Jake DeHaan having a great first half, 8 out of 10 for 142. He had the one interception, but other than that, he's been surgical in the pocket. On the ground, he's carried it 4 times for 30 yards. So the Sailors getting the play out of their star quarterback that they need against a very good East Grand Rapids team. Meanwhile, on the other side, Patrick Bergstrom's been pretty good too. He's relied more on the running game, though. Drew Caswell's been the workhorse, and a little bit of Nick Collins as well. Pioneers trail 14-6 as they start this drive on their own 20. Single setback is Caswell. Bergstrom will fake it to him, fired out in the flat on a quick route to Collins, and Nick tried to run before he caught it. Dropped it at the 22-yard line, incomplete.
Yeah, look for East to go back to Collins on one of those go routes again. I can see them going back to that. I dropped that pass, but he's kind of been their go-to guy, at least when they pass the ball. And let's see how that Vermas-Collins matchup comes out this drive.
And John, if you know Jake Vermas, he's no shortage of swagger, right? I mean, there's a little bit of chatter going on between him and Nick Collins. You know that. It's going to be a good battle all night long. On 2nd and 10, Caswell delayed handoff on the counter play over the 25 or near the 25-yard line. Dropped by 10 half. Big 3rd and 5 coming up for East Grand Rapids.
Yeah, it was a good running play there by East. Kind of got him out of 3rd and long and got him to 3rd and manageable. You could run or pass it here. You kind of got your pick of the litter if you're the play caller for East, which is really nice. You can keep them honest on defense.
Sailors go nickel with Ben Mulder coming out of the game, replaced by Jake DeHaan, who's that 5th defensive back. On 3rd and 5, quick drop from Bergstrom, slings it over the middle to Collins on an underneath route, airmailed it just a bit. DeHaan was right there, though. Good coverage. Ball's incomplete. It's 4th down. So far, the two quarterbacks have played well, but there's no doubt the accuracy meter goes in favor of Jake DeHaan. His passes have been on the money. Bergstrom's been just a tad off on some of those throws.
Yeah, and part of that is the battle up front. You know, Jake really has had about as much time to throw as you'd want for the most part. And, that one play, Bergstrom got hit pretty hard. That always shakes you up as a quarterback.
Nick Collins on to punt. He'll also sell popcorn at halftime. He's done everything else tonight. Shanks it a bit off to the right, and it goes out of bounds at the Sailor 48. So great field position for South Christian. They'll look to expand this lead here. Up 14-6. And that's, other than the interception on the first possession, that forced punt is the first stop of the game.
Yeah, still got 8 minutes and 20 seconds left, but kind of sense that this is a pretty big drive right here, especially if South could punch it in for a touchdown. It's a big drive.
Two receivers to the right, the wide side. DeHaan straight back to throw, pumps, now goes deep down the right sideline to Nitz. He comes back to make the catch at the 22 along the boundary in front of Scotty Millman. Brady Nitz with a big first half. That's a 32-yard pitch and catch.
They did another one of those play off that little out route. They ran that out route and that go route on the outside. Jake DeHaan pumped the out route and threw it to Nitz down the sideline.
Quick tempo for South Christian, quickly to the line of scrimmage. Two receivers to the left, two to the right. They give us to Brinks. No, they fake it to him, and DeHaan keeps it right up the middle inside the 15 to the 14. Shoestring tackle by Morrison Maher.
Nitz so far, 3 catches for 100 yards. That's a pretty good stat line right there. And that last go ball was one of those, you call them 50-50 balls where it was a great throw, but a defensive back, it was pretty good coverage, but Nitz just went up and made a good play.
Nitz had 2 catches for 35 yards last week against Grand Rapids Christian. First down, throwing over the middle for the touchdown. DeHaan finds Jake Vermas on the post route in the end zone on a beautiful throw from DeHaan, 14 yards for the score. And the Sailors take a 20-6 lead with 7:23 to go here in the first half.
Great timing on that throw from Jake. Threw it right as Vermas was breaking and put it right on his numbers.
Brinks on for the PAT. John, how about this too? We're quarter and a half through this game so far. Last week, South Christian committed 8 penalties against Grand Rapids Christian. Tonight, they have been flagless, really playing well. And other than that sort of strange interception that DeHaan tossed in the first quarter, this team has been absolutely precise on the offensive end.
Yeah, they came out ready to play. You know, the only thing I just noticed on that extra point that Coach Brown's not going to be happy about is one of the guys forgot that he was on the PAT group, so he was a little late running on the field. I bet that's going to be a coaching point at halftime and after the game.
If that's the most severe criticism he has, it's been a good night so far. Hey, the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame, as its 50th year anniversary this year, they're looking for your help. Go to GRSHOF.com, that's GRSHOF.com, to participate. The questions they want to know from you are: who is the top West Michigan male athlete you have watched perform in the last 50 years, and who's the best, or what is the best sporting event West Michigan has ever seen? So, John, I'll ask you, your all-time, in your span of life here in the last 20-some years of your life, who's your favorite Grand Rapids athlete of all time?
Oh. I don't know if I can answer that before thinking about it for a little while, to be honest with you.
I'll give you
I might have to come back to that one.
Okay, we'll give you, if not the second half, later in the season. That promotion lasts all season long, and GRSportsHallOfFame.com, GRSHOF.com. Another unreturnable kick by Nate Brinks. 1st and 10 from the 20 for Easton. I'm going to go out and say this is a pretty important possession for Josh Shattuck's Pioneers.
Yeah, let's see what they do here. If they try to go back to their bread and butter and run the ball. That was a big drive by South. Last possession, 3 plays, 52 yards. Ended in a 14-yard TD pass. Only took 58 seconds.
On 1st and 10, in motion is McKeegan. The give is to Caswell. He plows his way over the left side of the line. Ben Mulder was there, so was Sawyer Tenhalf to bring him down. Picked up 3. No doubt East wants to run the football.
Yeah, I honestly think that's a good strategy. I know South's up by, 15 points it is, but with how well South's offense is playing, if you can get a couple first downs and run the ball, even if you don't score, if you keep them off the field for the rest of this first half or as much as possible and let your defense regroup at halftime, I think that's a good place to go.
Here's some misdirection. Collins has got it again around the left side. Jitterbugs on Jake Cashin, now sprints to the sideline and wheels his way up the left boundary for a big gain. Nick Collins finally pushed out of bounds at the 48. That's a 25-yard run by the senior player. A flag is on the field, though, John. This one might come back. It is. It's a hold on East Grand Rapids. So we will replay 2nd down. I thought it may have gone against the left tackle. Kovaleski at the 31-yard line. They mark it off back to the 21. And that nullifies the big 25-yard run by Nick Collins.
Yeah, big penalty there. You never like penalties in general, but especially on an explosive play like that. That's a drive killer.
Austin Teasma and Seth Ritzmar, tandem safeties for South Christian. Tanner Rock in the game at the wide side corner. East runs trips right, play action. Bergstrom to throw. Here comes the rush from Van Salkema. Bergstrom escapes it, breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage, is near the first down before he is walloped by Seth Ritzma at the 29. He's going to be a yard shy, but a pretty elusive effort there by Patrick Bergstrom to escape that rush.
Yeah, that was a great job by South's defensive line putting pressure on him there, because East, I think, maybe had a guy open actually streaking down the middle of the field there, but he just didn't have enough time and he had to start scrambling. Bergstrom's pretty quick. He hasn't ran it much tonight, I don't think, but yeah, only 2 times, but he's quick.
Preston Bergstrom looks at 3rd and 1. Here comes the Sailor blitz, and they drop Caswell behind the line. It was Ben Mulder knifing through that wall of blue to make the tackle, and it's 4th down and 2. Big play by Mulder. Now, if you're Josh Shattuck, do you consider going for it?
Yeah, I'd consider it. 4th and 2.
They're going to punt it. Nick Collins retreats back to his 15. So the Sailors come up big on another 3rd down stop. Brought the house on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with this call by East Grand Rapids here. I think, especially after that 3rd and 1 play, that was a pretty big momentum play right there. Kind of just stifling somebody on 3rd and 1 is a big play.
Collins drills a spiral down to the 25, where Vermas calls for the fair catch at the 26. And that's where South Christian will start with 4.5 to go here in the first half. Sailors up 21-6. Paris Motors is owned and operated by the Paris family for over 60 years, rather than the Newick family. 4th generation family is now in the business and full of graduates from South Christian High School. They specialize in cars, vans, trucks, and SUVs priced between $5,000 and $20,000. They're the only recipient in West Michigan, a past recipient of Michigan's Quality Dealer of the Year. That's Paris Motors, remembering that a true sailor is a model of perseverance and integrity. The wins and losses come on and off the field. That's Paris Motors, one of tonight's game sponsors. On 1st and 10, Brinks bounces it outside, but then the alley closes quickly as he was hemmed in right at the line of scrimmage on a good play by who else? Nick Collins. Tonight's broadcast also is sponsored in part by River Ridge Dentistry and Boulder Plumbing. Gain of maybe a couple on the play, 2nd and 8.
It looks like East is kind of changing a little bit of their defensive scheme here. Kind of playing a little bit tighter by the corners and safeties.
John out of the gun, straight back to throw. Nobody's open, so he'll keep it. Wheels around the right end. Rowland stopped him at the 36, shy of the first down. 3rd and 1 for South Christian. Turns it into a very short 3rd down after that 8-yard scramble by the quarterback. Was he looking to run all the way on that one? That was a very short glance downfield, wasn't it?
Yeah, it almost seemed like it. I think he might have had just one read there, and it might have been taken away, and then just decided to pull it down.
Hard count by DeHaan. I thought that he drew the Pioneers offside, but not quite. So Jake will bark out the signals again with Ritzma as the H-back. He leads the blocking for Brinks, who bounces it to the edge, gets the first down along the right sideline, spins his way to the 40, and keeps the drive alive for South Christian. 3 minutes to go. Here's that. I love this part of football, really, the 4-minute drill where Danny Brown wants to score here and would really love to score with about 4 seconds left on the clock.
Yep, something they probably worked on in team camp is that 4-minute drive scenario.
From the 40, 1st and 10. Brady Nitz split wide to the left. Ritzma slot left. Vermas and Carson Viss, who's been fairly quiet since his touchdown catch in the first quarter, gave the South Christian a 7-3 lead. DeHaan looks right, now rolls left, pumps once, has room up the middle. He's got a first down over midfield, breaks a tackle from Collins, and then finally yanked down by Kavanaugh, but not after he picked up 17 and another South Christian first down. That's just pure athleticism by number 5.
Yeah, no doubt. They must covered the routes pretty well there on that rollout, and that's the beauty of having a quarterback that can pull it down and run too.
A little pump fake to the right side, drew created that flow just enough to allow him to find room going to the left. And on 1st and 10, same thing. He looks right, pumps it, pulls it down, and then weaves his way inside the 40 to the 36 before Higgins and Rowland sandwiched him. 7-yard gain.
Number 10, Nick Rowland. Number 14, Jack Higgins.
2nd and 3 from the 36. Clock now 1:45. South Christian with all 3 timeouts remaining here in the first half.
Yeah, you got plenty of time here. 1:30 left. Plenty of time. No need to rush.
DeHaan again faking to Brinks. Slips out of a tackle of Kirby Van Zee behind the line and then falls forward to the 33. That's enough for the first down. 1:22 to go, moves the chains. Danny Brown will signal a timeout.
Timeout, South Christian. East Grand Rapids.
We'll step aside, and on the other side, come back with his 1st and 10. South Christian trying to punch another one in here as we move toward halftime on Michigan Sports Radio and the Sailor Zone.
What would you do with some extra time? Shop Fastlane today.
Falling. Need to replace that worn-out carpet or floor? Floor Coverings International makes it easy. They bring their mobile showroom to you. Save yourself the trip and gas shopping around. See a wide selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and vinyl in the lighting of your own home. Go to floorcoveringsinternational.com today for your free consultation. Work with one team for a hassle-free experience from the quote to installation. And each Floor Coverings International business is independently owned and operated, so they are local business owners in our community. Floor Coverings International, the flooring store at your door.
1st and 10 for the Sailors. Flag comes in to cease that play, and there's the first South Christian penalty, illegal procedure. Mark them off 5 yards. Last week against Grand Rapids Christian, Jake DeHaan was a very efficient 17 for 22 for 255 yards, 4 touchdowns. On the ground, 13 for 39. He is doing it again today with his legs and his arm. 1:19 to go here in the second quarter. 1st and 15 for South at the 37. Vermas, who's caught a touchdown, slot left. Brinks the running back. He'll swing out to the right, grab the pass from DeHaan, break a tackle at the 30. Now slip another one at the 15. Fight his way inside the 10, all the way down to the 7. Beautiful catch and run by Nate Brinks on a 30-yard swing pass to Nate Brinks.
He's really elusive, and he's pretty tall. He's pretty big. He's a good player.
6 foot, 190-pound senior is Nate Brinks. Caught 4 passes for 16 yards last week, including a touchdown on a pass very similar to that. Tonight, that was his first catch. 1st and goal from the 7. They fake to him. Now throw the fade route to Carson Viss in the left corner. He got kind of tangled up there with Tommy Cavanaugh at the goal line, and the ball was over his head, incomplete. 43 seconds to go. 2nd and 8. South Christian with 2 timeouts left. Plenty of time here to use a little bit of clock as well. Although I tell you, John, the defense has been so good, I don't know that it really matters. They've really shut South has shut East Grand Rapids down. At any rate, 2nd down and 7 from the 7. Play action. DeHaan, a lot of time, throws, touchdown over the middle to Brady Nitz. He beats O'Malley for the score. That's the 2nd TD catch for Brady Nitz, and it's 27-6. Sailors on top. give the offensive line the credit on that play. Tremendous protection for Jake DeHaan.
Yeah, what a great throw, too. Bide some time a little bit, kind of moved around the pocket, and just fired a bullet right across the field. Pretty good coverage, really, but
that's the 4th touchdown pass tonight for Jake DeHaan. That goes with his 4 last week. He is going to turn a lot of heads across the state with the numbers he's putting up already. South Christian with 38 seconds to go, up 28-6, and in control here in the second quarter.
Vinsalcoma Family Farms. For 5 generations, Vinsalcoma Family Farms has expanded and learned a lot over those years. Today, Vinsalcoma Family Farms grow and source over 70 varieties of fresh fruits and vegetables in Michigan and Georgia, as well as Mexico, South America, and Canada. They are wholeheartedly committed to maintaining the highest standards in everything they do, without compromise. It's a mission at Vinsalcoma Family Farms hold and near and dear to our hearts, and one set in writing over 100 years ago by Garrett Vinsalcoma.
South Christian up 28-6 after that drive.
8 plays, 78 yards, a little bit longer drive there, 4 minutes. That's doubles the nearest touchdown drive that they've had of 2 minutes. But yeah, good job on that drive using the clock, and like you said, probably didn't really matter because South's defense has been so good. But great clock management there by the coaches, and great pass to end it off.
Hey, John, give me a little props here, man. With 3:52 to go in the half, South had the ball at their own 35, and I said this is where you go with a 4-minute drive and score with 40 seconds to go. There's 38 seconds left on the clock. I mean, Danny Brown's just listening to our broadcast, knowing that's how you manage the clock.
Yeah. I'm guessing he probably bugged into our radio station, don't you think?
Brinks drills another kickoff through the end zone. Matter of fact, that hit the crossbar. Sailors got it going right now in all facets. And they'll look to close out this first half with a defensive stop. I'm going to go back to the South Christian offense, though. If you're Josh Shattuck now, how do you evaluate how much pressure you've brought on Jake DeHaan? He's basically playing backyard football. Every time he drops back to throw, having all kinds of time, where do you bring the pressure to get him a little uncomfortable?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to probably watch the film to see for sure, but I really don't think they've blitzed their linebackers very much. I mean, I can't really recall many times thinking, oh, they're bringing some pressure here. I think you just got to let it loose. I mean, at this point, you're down 22. It's still in the first half. I think when you come out of halftime, even if you got to draw up some blitzes, I just start bringing the pressure. I mean, you don't got much to lose. So I think you just start calling everything you got in the book and just seeing what sticks.
You know, you and I had a chance to sit down with Danny Brown a couple of weeks ago and talk about this year's team and what they looked like. And you could tell he was feeling pretty good. And we even said, this could be your best team you've had, best team, John, since you prepped there in 2014. But one of the things he kept coming back to was the weight training and the physical strength. And I think tonight we're seeing that too. You talked about it earlier. South Christian is dominating the battle up front.
Yeah, I mean, Danny was, it's always hard to know, in the summer and team camp, to know what kind of team you got. I mean, you kind of get a good sense for it. But, I mean, when we sat down with him, you could just tell that he was really confident in his team. And not only the weight room, but just the leaders they have, the seniors and the athletes. I think all around he was just really excited about this team, and it's so far through 1.5 games, or almost 1.5 games, it's come to fruition so far.
On 1st and 10, Ian McKeegan on the misdirection tries to get to the right side, and Sawyer Tenhalf, all 6'6", 225, says nothing doing as he hemmed him in and just threw him down like a rag doll back at the 17-yard line. Loss of 3, and I think Josh Shattuck's going to wave the white flag for the end of this first half. Indeed he is. That'll be the way we finish it. 28-6, South Christian. doing what Rockford did to East Grand Rapids, and then some, really, a week ago up in Rockford. How about that? 28-6 to score at the half. Stay with us at halftime. The Paris Motors halftime show coming up. We'll go to East Lansing for This Week in Michigan High School Sports in a little bit with John Ross, and then later on David Kuhl will join us for his weekly visit. We'll talk about not only the MHSAA, but the big news out of South Christian basketball happening this week as well. That is all ahead on the Paris Motors halftime show. We'll take a break, come back, and give you a quick scoring summary of this one. That's all ahead on Sailor Zone at MichiganSportsRadio.com.
Bowling is a great time that combines great friends, football, and bowling. Compete against your friends or family, throwing a football at 10 real bowling pins. You can bring in your own food, or they have a pair of 45-foot bars featuring soft drinks and adult beverages. Visit FoldingWarehouse.com, Grand Rapids, to reserve your lanes.
Call it a sense of purpose, a higher calling. At Dean Transportation, we call it our passion. It's simply who we are. 60 years of pioneering the best health and safety standards because safe student transportation is essential. We are hard-working folks, connecting children to learning, schools to our communities, and you to a better career. Want to make Michigan a better place? We'll put you in the driver's seat. Join the Dean family today and help to connect our kids to brighter futures.
Cornerstone University.
The professors are very open to helping whenever they can.
Academic excellence, character-driven athletics, Christ-centered community involvement.
Cornerstone has been a great opportunity for me to grow as a leader, just being able to approach people and be warm and welcoming and hospitable.
Experience it for yourself. Attend a Golden Eagle Day at Cornerstone for a taste of campus life and the chance to meet faculty and staff. To arrange a visit for your high school junior or senior, go to cornerstone.edu. Cornerstone University. Build a life that matters.
It is halftime here on the shores of Reeds Lake. Grand Rapids South Christian rolling over East Grand Rapids 28-6. Sailors have really been in command most of this game. They took the opening kickoff, drove all the way down to the red zone, actually just outside the red zone. Nick Collins turned them away with an interception to stop the drive. East Grand Rapids would then traverse the length of the gridiron and score on a field goal from Collins, a 33-yard kick to open the scoring with 4:08 left in the first quarter. Sailors responded, though, taking the ensuing kickoff, moving 82 yards in 5 plays. 73 yards in 6 plays. It was DeHaan's 32-yard TD pass to Carson Viss that gave South a 7-3 lead with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. East Grand Rapids responded very well on the ensuing kickoff. They moved 47 yards in 7 plays after a 50-yard kickoff return by Ian McKeegan. However, South's defense stiffened, and the Pioneers had to settle for Collins' second field goal of the night, a 32-yarder, making it 7-6. Sailors from there on, though, dominated. 3 touchdown passes from Jake DeHaan, 1 to Brady Nitz of 50 yards on a post route, 32-yard pass, an 18-yard run. Jake DeHaan then hit Jake Vermas for a 14-yard touchdown score in the second quarter to make it 21-6. And with 38 seconds to go in the first half, it was DeHaan again to Nitz to tally for a second time and a 28-6 lead. That's where we stand. 28-6 is the score. We're going to send you to East Lansing after these messages. John Ross will join us for the This Week in High School Sports after these messages on Michigan Sports Radio and the Sailor Zone.
1969, J&H Family Stores has grown from a single tank truck to over 50 convenience store locations in West Michigan. Our locations offer a variety of fuel options ranging from Exxon, Mobil, Marathon, and Citgo. At many of our stores, you'll also be pleased to find a Tim Hortons or Subway. Find the location near you by visiting myjhfamilystores.com. There's one in your neighborhood.
Located just 20 minutes from Grand Rapids and Kent City, the Falls at Barber Creek is one of Michigan's premier golfing destinations. The beautifully designed 18-hole public golf course welcomes golfers of all ages and skill levels. Its challenging track with dramatic elevation changes through breathtaking scenery, including a 40-foot waterfall, makes it a place you're definitely going to want to play. Check out the course with a drone flyover and reserve your tee times at thefallsatbc.com.
Somebody once said life moves pretty fast, and that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Because where Culver's comes from,
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
School records fall all over the state, and we continue to celebrate accomplishments in the 50th year of Title IX. I'm John Ross, and this is This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. We are into the third week of action for our boys' soccer teams, and believe it or not, the postseason starts in 7 weeks. Tournament play will be very similar to the past couple of years, with one change. The Michigan Power Rating, or MPR, will once again be used to seed the top 2 teams in each district. Now, those 2 teams are also eligible to host first and second round games. That wasn't necessarily the case in past years based on the draw. District semifinals and finals will still all be played at one location. The MPR takes wins, losses, and ties into account, but also opponents' winning percentage and opponents' winning percentage, a calculation that encourages teams to play other good teams. As in past years, district assignments are already known and posted to the MHSAA website. The bracket will be released on October 2nd, with the postseason starting October 12th. The MHSAA finals for the 4 divisions will be November 5th at both Comstock Park and Novi High Schools. Game balls this week go to Walled Lake Western's Darius Taylor. The senior running back ran for 345 yards and 6 touchdowns in a 47-26 win over South Lyon. The 345 yards is a new school record, and the 6 touchdowns tied a school record. Midland Dow tennis player Austin King won 6 matches at number 1 singles in a 3-day span, dropping only 1 set. That helped Dow knock off 4 ranked teams, tie another, and finish 5-0-1 in the 2 quads they played. And to Onsted's Emery Ross. She set a school and course record while finishing first at the girls' cross-country Keener Invite in Addison. That performance helped lead Onsted to a girls' team title at the Invite as well.
Need money for college? You need My Student Aid. My Student Aid is the go-to resource that helps Michigan families find money to pay for college. Plus, they'll guide you through the financial aid process and answer any questions you have. For grants, scholarships, and more, connect with My Student Aid, helping make college affordable for everyone. Learn more at michigan.gov/MIStudentAid.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with the MHSAA's Sam Davis.
There's a new rule in football this year that provides the offense more time to draw up a play and prepare matchups when the defense commits a foul, potentially changing the approach by the offense entirely. Under the change, When the defense or receiving team commits a foul, the play clock will start at 40 seconds, giving the offense an extra 15 seconds to prepare their scheme for the next play. For all other administrative stoppages, including fouls against the offense or kicking team, the play clock will be set to 25 seconds when play resumes.
Thanks, Sam. You can be a referee. Just go to MHSAA.com now to register. In 1972, Title IX was signed into law. In the 50 years since, millions of girls have participated in an MHSAA-sponsored sport, and that number continues to grow every year. We've celebrated their numerous contributions and achievements in a variety of ways the past year, and will continue to do so leading up to the 25th Annual Women in Sports Leadership Conference in October. Today, we highlight Gracie Olson. In her swimming career at Fenton, Olson captured 6 individual state titles, winning at least one title all 4 years of high school. She has the second fastest 200-yard individual medley time in state history, and is now a part of the swim team at Indiana University.
I've made all my best friends. I've become more confident. I've learned how to be a leader, learned how to work with others, and there's so much more that just the sport has taught me, which, and without swimming, I'm not sure that I would have financially been able to attend a major university like Indiana.
For more information on the WISL conference or for previous Title IX at 50 spotlights, please check out MHSAA.com. You've been listening to This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid, a production of the MHSAA Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we'll see you next week.
Have the right insurance agent handling all your insurance needs is one of the most secure feelings you can have. Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Pete Quacklar of the Quacklar Insurance Agency will be there for you to bring you peace of mind and to help you and your family through the toughest times of your life. As one of his insureds, you will receive fast, fair, honest, and personal treatment. Please contact Agent Pete Quacklar from the South Christian High School's class of 1988, 616-583-8300, or find him on southchristiansports.com. The Quacklar Insurance Agency celebrating 29 years of service with Farm Bureau Insurance. For 85 years, Sobey Company has been a premier commercial construction contractor specializing in everything from walls and ceilings to floors and insulation. We have been part of almost every large commercial construction project in West Michigan, including the newly constructed South Christian High School, Byron Center Christian renovations, and 2 expansion projects at Dutton Christian. Our skilled and talented craftsmen can make any interior dream you have on a construction project a reality. Go Sailors!
Back at East Grand Rapids Memorial Stadium, it is halftime. South Christian up 28-6 over the Pioneers. Welcome back inside Memorial Field for the Quacklar Insurance halftime show. Bob Sack joined, as always, each week by David Kuhl. Pretty impressive first half. I think you and I are both just kind of shell-shocked on this one, but happily, I might add.
Yeah, no doubt. It is. It's fun to watch. Second week of the year, and they're looking like a well-oiled machine. We can only beat ourselves, you feel like. It's been fun to watch.
David, we just joined John Ross in East Lansing for This Week in Michigan High School Sports, and I always like to get your thoughts on high school sports in general here as we start a new season, just to get a sense from you as to what the trends are, what the thoughts are with the MHSA, what they're doing. And one thing that popped into my mind this year as I viewed them over the summer was this emphasis on the 5th quarter rule, and it's sort of an amplification of that this year, right? Explain what that is and what your thoughts are on it and how the MHSAA is handling it.
Yeah, I think it's a really good concept, Bob. And for those of you that don't know what it is, it is it is what it sounds. A kid can play in 5 quarters in different sports like football, basketball. Especially those two, they could play, and say there's a JV game on a Thursday or a Wednesday, I guess, of this week, right? They could play in 3 quarters there, or 4 quarters even, right? And then they could play in 1 in the varsity, or they could play in 1 in the JV, and they could play in 4 in the varsity, vice versa. However they want to do that. And it's been really cool, especially for the smaller schools, as I've found out in my 3 years as being an AD. It's what really allows the smaller schools to keep programs alive. And I think, and what we're in this business is for the kids. and it gives kids more opportunities to have a team. If certain schools don't play by those rules and don't have that rule, it probably means 20 others aren't on a team. And I think that's the biggest thing that people need to know. You know, you're going to hear about the stories about, you know, people using it the wrong way by having a kid maybe that shouldn't go down to the JV level and help win them some games, right? But that's not really the heart of the rule. If it's done well, it's very good for the game, for all games, and it's been fun for us to see how it evolves.
As you watch the MHSA over the summer, and you've been involved in discussions, of course, with the OK Conference, well, what else have you seen out of East Lansing that you've been really pleased with, and you say, hey, that's a good direction they're going in?
I think they're really starting to push the. I'm a basketball guy. I don't think that's a secret to anybody. The shot clock is coming close. So if you're a basketball fan and you've been clamoring for a shot clock, I do think that's coming close. That's been one thing that I've been. I don't know if you say on the initiative of pressing, but I think that's needed. So I think that'll be good. We already kind of talked about the fifth quarter rule, and I think just the overall leadership of Mark Ewell, always trying to, I don't know if push the envelope is the right word, but always putting kids first. It's just been a pleasure to be around, and he's always honest, transparent. Whenever you need anything, those guys, whether it's Andy Freshour or Cody Inglis, those guys at the MHSA are incredible, and they're fun to work with.
And, you know, we saw what a great job they did with the pandemic and navigating
incredible.
that. So, terrific job. So, speaking of basketball, one last question for you on this September 1st Thursday night. Big news out of South Christian this week. After 7 years at the helm and many more as an assistant coach, Jeff Mings announces he's stepping down as the head basketball coach at South. How much were you surprised by Jeff and his decision, and what were your thoughts when you heard that?
Yeah, it was. It's been an interesting week or so since then. But Coach and I have discussed it often over the summer, and he's just has expressed the not want to do a lot of the work that needs to be done, meaning the film sessions, the extra work in the summer. The constant grind. It really is 365 days a year if you want to do it the right way nowadays. And he's been doing it for 30 years overall, 23 at South, 7 as a varsity coach, as you mentioned. And he saw his sons go through the program. I think he's accomplished everything he's wanted to, and he just got to the point where he's just ready to kind of move on and have a new chapter. It's been really cool. I've talked to him several times since, and he's just at peace with it. And he's such a great man, and he's been a great leader for not only the boys but our community. He will be missed sorely, and definitely was a little surprised. But he wants to do what's best for him and his family and stay happy, and that's all that matters. He's given a great run for us,
and a great example, really, of his role there, exemplifying the stability and the solidity of the program.
Yep,
I think he was only the 4th or 5th coach in the 50, 60-year history of the school, which is just remarkable and says so much. We've seen it in football, basketball, and other sports
Incredible.
too. So,
Yep.
David Cole, thanks for joining us on the Quackalar Halftime Show, and we'll talk to you here in the coming weeks. Get into more about some of the fall sports going on at South Christian and the good success that they are having. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, we'll step aside, and when we come back, give you the first half stats and get ready for the kickoff here. Third quarter, South Christian up 28-6. That concludes the Quackalar Farm Bureau Insurance Halftime Report.
Cornerstone University.
The professors are very open to helping whenever they can.
Academic excellence, character-driven athletics, Christ-centered community involvement.
Cornerstone has been a great opportunity for me to grow as a leader, just being able to approach people and be warm and welcoming and hospitable.
Experience it for yourself. Attend a Golden Eagle Day at Cornerstone for a taste of campus life and the chance to meet faculty and staff. To arrange a visit for your high school junior or senior, go to cornerstone.edu. Cornerstone University. Build a life that matters.
Need to replace that worn-out carpet or floor? Floor Coverings International makes it easy. They bring their mobile showroom to you. Save yourself the trip and gas shopping around. See a wide selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and vinyl in the lighting of your own home. Go to floorcoveringsinternational.com today for your free consultation. Work with one team for a hassle-free experience from the quote to installation. And each Floor Coverings International business is independently owned and operated, so they are local business owners in our community. Floor Coverings International, the flooring store at your door.
Bob Sack alongside John Wasink as we get ready to go for the third quarter. Brought to you tonight by Van Solkema Family Farm. South Christian up 28-6, spotted the Pioneers a 3-0 lead. And from then on, other than a field goal for East Grand Rapids, South Christian has been dominant. John, first half stats bear that out.
Yeah, I mean, biggest stat that jumps out to me is South had 326 yards of total offense, and East only had 117. Just a huge discrepancy there. Turnovers, South had obviously threw that one interception, and East Grand Rapids didn't turn the ball over, but didn't really matter because South held them to a field goal on that first drive and just kept the offense rolling. I mean, Jake DeHaan, 12 of 15, 226 yards, 4 touchdowns through the air. Can't get too much more efficient than that. He's been tremendous.
It has been a impressive performance for South Christian, and they'll try to keep it going here, smelling something that they have never seen or never smelled and never tasted in the history of the school and the football program. That is a victory over the East Grand Rapids Pioneers. 28-6. Rockford led East 34-7 last week at halftime, so that gives you some sense of how impressive this Sailor team has been. But we've still got half of football to go, and East will have something to say about that here in the second half. They start out on 1st and 10 with Drew Caswell busting over the left side. He was met there by Ben Mulders at a really good first half and a linebacker spot. Caswell's been the workhorse really for the Pioneers, carrying the ball 12 times already in this football game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if East comes out with anything different this half. I'd suspect that they're going to do a few different things this half and see how South adjusts to it.
Collins in motion, serves as a blocker. Caswell takes the handoff from Preston Bergstrom, tries to get outside around the left edge, but John Cameron Post just chased him down. He's 6'4", 250, and he runs. It's just a really athletic outside linebacker with big size for the Sailors on that wide side.
Yeah, him along with Sawyer Tenhoff on the other side. I mean, both those kids are big and strong, but I mean, honestly, their speed is probably one of the most impressive things about them. They really set that edge, and that's always a key to defense, is setting that edge and letting your linebackers flow to the ball freely.
Tenhoff led the Sailors with 5 tackles last week against Christian. Here's a quick tunnel screen to Ian McKeegan, breaks a couple of tackles, including that of Kiesma, gets outside the numbers before Ritzma finally runs him down at the 36-yard line. That big third down play moves the chains. Well-designed tunnel screen and good blocking and some terrific effort from Ian McKeegan.
Yeah, East Grand Rapids had 3 wideouts out there and just threw a quick little screen to the slot and had those 2 outside guys block, and they had numbers out there and just had a quick little pass play there. Worked out well to get the first down.
Preston Bergstrom sends 3 receivers wide to the wide side, the left side. Now Collins in motion that way. They give us to Caswell. It breaks a tackle from Nienhuis behind the line and then bowls his way over the 40 before he runs into Jake Cashin and Sawyer Tenhoff. Picked up about 3. Call it 2nd and 7 from the 40.
Yeah, 54 Nienhuis isn't going to be too happy with himself after that one. He had the running back dead to rights in the backfield there and just let him slip out of his arms, but really good penetration by the D-line. They just got to wrap up and make those plays when they get through.
Robbie Laidler now in at that tackle spot. Collins, a recipient of a Bergstrom swing pass in the right flat, but Sawyer Tenhoff just has nothing but coverage perfected there as he throws Collins to the ground, a loss of a yard.
Yeah, again, just the speed of Sawyer and Cam Post on the outside is just impressive. You know, he's playing defensive end, but he went out on a pass play to go tackle him on that short little pass play. Just shows you his not only his athleticism, but his ability to read the play, too. It's just a great play.
Danny told us a couple weeks ago he thinks of himself as a Greek god because he's worked out in the weight room so much, wants to go around without his shirt on all the time. So, 3rd and 1, they go deep. Bergstrom down the right side for Collins. Vermas right there with him. A little help from Ritzma floating over from the safety spot. And South Christian holds on 4th down, or 3rd and 9. It's an interesting call there, John, to go deep. When East has had some success over the middle in the short routes, but they tried it for the home run ball there on 3rd and 9.
Yeah, they tried to go to Collins, not surprising there, and Jake Vermas was right on it. You know, if you're Bergstrom there, I think just try to get your guy a chance to make a play. You know, even an interception on 3rd and long actually isn't the worst thing in the world. It's almost like a punt. You know, especially on a deep pass play. You just want to give your guy a chance to make a play.
Collins sends a spiraling kick 43 yards down to the 19-yard line. Fair caught by Jake Vermas, and from the 20 is where they'll mark it. That's where Jake DeHaan will start 1st and 10.
Let's see if, like we talked about before halftime, see if East draws anything up or if they bring any blitzes. I mean, got to think that they're going to do something. So we'll see what they came up with at halftime.
Pioneers show single coverage. Straight back to throws DeHaan. Here comes the pressure. He'll try to escape to the left side, and he is hemmed in and swallowed up at the 17-yard line. First to meet him was Morrison Maher. Lost 3 on the play, and a little pressure off the left side from, it looked like Alex Collins.
Yeah, they did bring a linebacker blitz there. Number 10, one of the middle linebackers came on a blitz on that last play. Just kind of looked like almost a broken play to me almost. I don't know if it was a missed assignment by somebody or.
Hard count by DeHaan causes Liam Roney to jump, but South Christian will say, or rather the officials say no. South Christian drew them off with a penalty. Illegal procedure. Now it'll be 2nd and 18. Really the first time the Sailors have been behind the chains, except for one other series in this game.
Yeah, right here, just try to get half. 2nd and long, 2nd and, 17, 18 here. Just try to cut it to about 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9.
DeHaan will roll right. Now he goes for it all and finds Vermas along the right sidelines at the 40. So much for that, John. Jack Higgins caught him from behind, but a 30-yard pass to pick up the first down, and Jake just laid it in there perfectly to Vermas on that little out route. Out and up.
Shows you how much I know. But, I mean, if you can isolate Jake and when you can get your athletes one-on-one, and just a great throw there, too. Led him right to the sideline.
1st and 10 on the read option. DeHaan kept it in the belly of Brinks as long as he could and then just scooted right up the middle, picking up 6 yards. Peter Heinz dragged him down at the 48. 5-yard gain for Jake DeHaan. Good read. What was your guiding principle on how long you leave that ball in the running back's belly on that read option?
Yeah, I mean, usually as long as you can, you like to keep it in there as long as you can just to keep the defense from knowing where the ball's going. And there you had plenty of time.
Rowland comes on the blitz again. That vacates the linebacker, and Vermas on an in route catches the ball at the 30 in front of Liam O'Malley, a 27-yard play. That's worked to perfection a couple of times.
Yeah, great play call on that long 2nd down play where they hit him on that out-breaking route. They come back with an in-breaking route. I'm sure that safety was worried about getting burned on that out route again, and instead Vermas gave him a little shimmy and broke it in.
1st and 10 from the 26. Out of the gun, straight back to throw Jake. He'll loft it towards the right corner of the end zone. Good defensive play at the last second. Oh, was tipped and intercepted. Tommy Cavanaugh tipped it into the hands of Jake Higgins in the end zone. How about that? Vermas, or rather, Viss had one-on-one coverage out there against Cavanaugh. And a great defensive play by the corner. He tipped it back to the safety coming over to help.
Yeah, if there's one of those 50-50 balls, and if you're Carson Viss there, you got to help your. It wasn't too bad of a throw, just really good coverage. And if you're Carson there, if you know you can't make a play on catching that ball, just try to knock it down at all costs. But got to give East Grand Rapids credit there. I mean, just great coverage. Just tipped it away, and good hustle by the safety too. You know, when that ball goes up, he hustled over there and was ready for that tip ball.
Kind of felt like that was a situation that could have been a nail in the coffin there for the Pioneers. They come up with a big defensive play. Both of their interceptions have been terrific plays by their secondary. Well, actually, the first one was Nick Collins, the outside linebacker, but He had a terrific read on a slant route. And on that particular play, Tommy Cavanaugh, excellent coverage. And his blanket defense was able to tip it away into the hands of Jack Hagan. So 1st and 10 after the touchback at the 20 for Preston Bergstrom. Drew Caswell to his right. He'll fake to him, swing it out here to Ian McKeegan. He jukes for Moss, gets to the sideline and run out of bounds for a gain of 5 yards. Nice job by Vermas, though, just basically keeping the receiver in front of him. And yeah, 5-yard gain, but there was no way that play was going to go for big yardage.
Yeah, at this point in the game, up 22, the way your defense has been playing all night, you just don't want to give up the big play and even let them have a glimmer of hope in this game. So keeping everything in front of you is key, and just letting your guys flow to the ball. And just great job by Vermas there.
Tanner Rock in the game at the wide side corner. On 2nd and 5, Bergstrom will keep it on the quarterback read. Cam Post wrapped him up behind the line, dropped him right at the line of scrimmage. You know, again, Bergstrom, you said earlier, pretty quick little quarterback. Post is 6'4", 250. Bergstrom could not escape him. That's how quick and agile Cam Post is.
Yeah, I suspect that East Grand Rapids probably won't go back to those read plays. I mean, it's always tough to read those defensive ends when those guys are just freakish athletes.
On 3rd and 5, here's a quick seam route complete to Collins outside the numbers in front of Vermas. 1st down at the 32. That was a good throw by Bergstrom. He really rifled it in there. And a much-needed 1st down for the Pioneers.
Yeah, so far in the second half, too, I think at the line of scrimmage, East Grand Rapids came out with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I bet they emphasized that in the locker room, and not that they've been just dominating the line of scrimmage in the second half, but they've been better than they were in the first half.
Max Torres up over the ball, a shotgun snap to Bergstrom, he turns and gives to Caswell, and he is going to be thrown for a loss. Who else? Cam Van Solkema, who's been wreaking havoc in that backfield all night, busts up the play and drops Caswell for a 3-yard loss. Remember last year, Post was hurt in the Grand Rapids Christian game in the opener and really missed a good chunk of the regular season. This year, Danny Brown told us before the season he's not coming off the field this year, and he has played that way in the first 2 weeks, no doubt.
That's a testament to the weight room work in the summer. You know, I really have not seen the South players tonight look tired at all.
Sailors go nickel. Nobody to throw to for Bergstrom, so he tries to run it, and Sawyer Tenhoff just pinches in from that left defensive end and drops the quarterback at the line of scrimmage for no gain. The agility of the two D ends is a tremendous weapon for that defense.
Yeah, this is just a situation that's tough for an offense, especially an offense like East Grand Rapids. 3rd and long for an offense that really wants to run the ball. It's 3rd and long regardless for any team is tough, but especially a team that really hangs their hat and run the ball.
3rd and 13, Bergstrom out of the gun, straight back to throw. Pretty good protection this time, throws it right flat, incomplete. Collins was the intended receiver for Moss, read it well, deflected it just as it was about to reach the hands of the receiver, and the Sailors again force a 4th down punt. Jake Vermas has played really well tonight against a good wide receiver in Nick Collins. He caught 3 balls last week at Rockford, and he's been contained. At the one long pass that was arguably out of bounds in the first quarter, everything else has been short, and he has been well corralled by that secondary. Collins stays on to punt. Boots a line drive end over end that Vermas will let bounce. He'll grab it at the 18. Jukes his way to the 20 and then is sandwiched at the 22 by Jesse James and Liam O'Malley. 1st and 10 for South Christian at the 20-yard line. We have a youth athlete looking to improve their game this fall. Michigan Sports Academies has fall clinics for volleyball, basketball, soccer, and lacrosse, all starting this September. That's now. They focus on quality coaching and have state-of-the-art facilities. Programs are offered for athletes from kindergarten through high school. Visit MichiganSportsAcademies.com. Charlie Skur now in the game at running back. First time we've seen him in the backfield. Gives you a different look. Brinks his 190. Skur, the scat back, at 5'9", 160 pounds. He'll slither his way over the 20 on the first down run, out to the 22, picked up 4. He ran for 56 yards, actually was the leading ball carrier last week against Grand Rapids Christian on 7 carries.
Yeah, he's quick and he's got some speed, but obviously just based on his height too, he's built low to the ground. He's not an easy guy to just drag down either.
You have a running back at Western, Bellamy, like that, right? What was his first name?
Levante.
Yeah. About 5'7".
Yep.
Dahan fakes that handoff to Skur and then keeps it, cuts back against the grain out over the 25 to the 27. Just shy of the first down, sets up 3rd and 1. How effective is that change of pace with a little running back in there? Is literally difficult to see for those defensive players.
Yeah, I mean, especially with a guy his size, I mean, in the size of South's offensive line, the linebackers, it's just tough for them to get a read on where he's going.
On 3rd and 1, the Sailors throw for the first down. A little play action. They hit Vermas on a quick get route. He does the rest, picking up 16 yards, half of that with his legs. And right now, you could tell on that play, there's a conditioning factor too. Jake looked like he could just easily dodge those defenders, and he's simply out maneuvering those guys to pick up big yardage there. Skur's got the handoff from Dahan. A lot of room around the right end. The hole closes quickly, though, as coming up to make the stop was Alex Collins. Picked up only 2. 2nd and 8. Clock inside at 2:20. Sailors up 28-6. Been a scoreless third quarter, but I don't think Danny Brown's going to worry about that. Right now, he's still feeling like he's in control of this one.
Yeah, going back to that 3rd and 1 play, that was a great decision by Jake Dahan. I think that was an RPO. He had a chance to hand it off or throw it, and he just saw Jake Vermas wide open there and just tossed it out to him.
On 2nd and 2, high snap. Grabbed by Dahan. He pulls it down, then gives it off to Skur. He scoots his way for a couple out over the 45 to the 47. So a big 3rd down here, 3rd and 6 from the 47. Either way, whether they make this or not, John, they've moved the ball from the 20 and flipped the field if, in fact, East can force a punt, which they have not done all night. 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That's been the South Christian possessions tonight. On 3rd and 6, here comes the blitz. Jake eludes the pressure, now finds room around the right side and weaves his way into the secondary for a first down along the right sidelines. A gain of 16 down to the 39-yard line. Terrific elusiveness there by Jake Dahan.
Yeah, just a great athletic play there. That's always a backbreaker for a defense when you cover the routes, and you even got some pressure on him, and he made something out of nothing, and that's just a kind of a deflating play for a defense.
You think about the 2nd and 18, they pick up the big first down there on 3rd and 6. You're right, those types of plays just sort of take the wind out of the sails. And here on Reed's Lake, the wind has died down and there are no sailboats out on the lake anymore. So maybe that's indicative of the East Grand Rapids defense at this point. 38 seconds to go here in this 3rd quarter. South Christian, 2nd and 9 after the 1-yard gain by Charlie Skur. Last year, Dahan threw for 200 yards against the East, but 3 big interceptions stifled the drives and prevented South Christian from pulling off the win. Tonight, he has thrown a couple picks, but he's also just absolutely dissected an East Grand Rapids secondary. Rockford's quarterback Mac Vandenhout threw for 5 touchdowns last week against the Pioneers.
I don't think either of those interceptions, I don't think Jake's going to be, he shouldn't be beating himself up over either of those two picks. I mean, the first one in the first half, that was just a tremendous – well, both of them really were just tremendous plays by the defense.
Another third down. DeHaan fakes to Brinks around the left side and then keeps it around a wide open vacated right edge. Has another first down to the 25-yard line. The third down conversions have just been incredibly efficient for South. 5 for 5 tonight on third downs. From the 25, it'll be 1st and 10, and that's the way the third quarter will end. No score in that third quarter, but South Christian firmly in command. They lead at 28-6. When we come back, it's the fourth quarter on Michigan Sports Radio in the Sailor Zone.
In 1969, J&H Family Stores has grown from a single tank truck to over 50 convenience store locations in West Michigan. Our locations offer a variety of fuel options ranging from Exxon, Mobil, Marathon, and Citgo. At many of our stores, you'll also be pleased to find a Tim Hortons or Subway. Find the location near you by visiting myjhfamilystores.com. There's one in your neighborhood.
Located just 20 minutes from Grand Rapids and Kent City, the Falls at Barber Creek is one of Michigan's premier golfing destinations. The beautifully designed 18-hole public golf course welcomes golfers of all ages and skill levels. Its challenging track with dramatic elevation changes through breathtaking scenery, including a 40-foot waterfall, makes it a place you're definitely going to want to play. Check out the course with a drone flyover and reserve your tee times at thefallsatbc.com.
Somebody once said life moves pretty fast, and that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
To everyone who...
We start the fourth quarter. Nate Brinks bounces that inside handoff to the edge and is able to race his way for 10 yards. Injured East Grand Rapids player on the field. Look to get you some scores from around the area in just a bit. In the OK Gold, everybody in action tonight, except for Ottawa Hills. They'll be at Benton Harbor tomorrow. South Haven visits Forest Hills Eastern tonight. Thornapple Kellogg is at Lowell. Kennewa Hills at Greenville. Wayland travels to Holland Christian. And in the game that could last about 65 minutes because of the wing tee, Zeeland West and Cedar Springs square off. Can you imagine that one, John? Maybe, 4 passes the entire night?
Yeah, something like that. The only thing that could make that game longer is if there's a lot of scoring. That's really the only thing I see making that game longer than it otherwise would be.
How about a score in the OK Red of interest, because you do have to start looking at scores. Mona Shores leads Rockford 27-9 in the third quarter. How about that? Orchard Lake, St. Mary, and Hudsonville in a good one, 16-14. Orchard Lake on top. Back here, starts the fourth quarter, 1st and 10 for South Christian at the EGR 15. Vermas and Nitt split wide to the right, Viss wide left. Brinks back in the game as the running back. Nate will take the handoff. Nice cutback against the flow and romps into the end zone for the touchdown. Nate Brinks a 15-yard touchdown run. Beautiful cutback there. And it looks like a tired EGR defense, but give credit to that offensive line. He was hardly touched.
Yeah, hardly touched. Great run, too. I mean, obviously, always starts with the offensive line, but Nate really just found the hole, kept his feet moving, and got it in for 6. Hopefully he'll make it 7.
That offensive line, the left side, Cam Post, Josh Harkema, Alex Muhlenberg doing a nice job Wasn't sure who would be the starting center just a couple weeks ago, but Muhlenberg has really stepped into that role, anchoring that offensive line. Kick is good. It's 35-6. 11:32 to go. Sailors continue their impressive performance tonight over a team that they have never beaten and a school that has tremendous tradition. 11 state championships won by East Grand Rapids over the years.
Yeah, great drive right there by South. 10 plays, 82 yards, 4 minutes and 28 seconds. Ended with that 15-yard TD run by Nate Brinks, and he booted the extra point through as well. So Nate Brinks drive right there.
That is the first South Christian touchdown this season that Jake DeHaan has not figured in. He has thrown 4 tonight for scores. He threw 4 TD passes last week of the 6 touchdowns against Grand Rapids Christian and ran for the other 2. So out of the Sailors' 11 touchdowns this year, it got to number 11 before number 5 did not figure into that score. A deflated East Grand Rapids crowd, terrific crowd on hand, as is always the case on the shores of Reeds Lake.
Which cleat do you think Nate? You think he's meant to wear those blue ones or the white ones?
Well, the blue one is the kicking was McKeegan with another good return out over the 30 to the 32 before Ben Mulder finally upended him. So the kicking one is the blue one?
I'm thinking the kicking one's the white one, but I would think that.
Oh, you're right, because he's got yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So he must have liked the blue ones, but then he went with a white kicking one.
And that's where he hopes to extend his football career as a place kicker. And we've seen that tonight, just booming kickoffs. How about the one before this? Hit the crossbar. Last year he had field goals in excess of 40 yards twice. On 1st and 10, Caswell dodges a tackler at the line of scrimmage and picks up about 3 to the 35. He's been contained too. Picked up solid 2, 3, 4 yards on most carries, John, but never really been able to break one.
Yeah, that's a testament to South's defensive line. You know, they're occupying those offensive linemen, not letting those guys get to the linebackers at that second level, and, you know, that's where you get those 2, 3, 4 yard runs and
play fake. Preston Bergstrom swings it out to Ian McKeegan. He's snowed under by Austin Teasma coming up from that safety spot. Great read by the free safety. Maybe a yard or 2 on the play.
Yeah, great job by the corner too, setting that edge. Safety read it really well, but as long as the corner set the edge and allowed that safety to get him when he cut back in.
Another 3rd down coming up here for the Pioneers. Their 3rd one. They're just 3 for 12 on 3rd downs. That's been a big stat in this football game as well that has shown the difference in the score. Play action. Bergsma had to hurry it. The rush was coming. He tried to swing it out there to Caswell. Sawyer Tenhoff just had a beat on him from the get-go. And Bergstrom could not find his receiver. 4th down, they'll have to kick it again.
Yeah, I didn't mind that play call. It looked like it was a screen pass. And tried to kind of use that aggressiveness of South's defensive ends against him and catch him on a little screen pass, but just didn't complete it there.
So Nick Collins on to punt again. He's been busy in a number of facets tonight during this game on both sides of the ball, but perhaps no more active than in the punt game. Sailors back off, set up the return. Collins shanks it off the side of his foot. Good field position again for DeHaan. And I think Danny Brown will try to pound one in here and turn this, yes, I'm about to say this, into a running clock. How about that? Scores from around the area tonight, some interesting ones. St. Joe, which is a really good team. St. Joseph, a lot of guys back from their semifinal squad of a year ago. They lead Unity Christian. These are all second half scores, 35-28. Jenison blanking Forest Hills Eastern 28-0. Jenison playing Forest Hills Central last week in a good ball game. It's this week hosting the Hawks and rolling over Eastern 28-zip. Here's an interesting score. Edwardsburg tied with Three Rivers, 14s in the third. And down the road, Fruitport 34, Grand Rapids Christian 14. 1st and 10, Charlie Skewer on the handoff slips as he tried to cut at the 38.
Charlie Skewer, the ball carrier.
Alex Collins was right there. Lost a yard on the play.
Loss of 1 on the play.
So, John, I got to ask you, let's think ahead a little bit here, and it's going to be hard not to do. This is a really good South Christian team, and tonight proves that this team is for real. They're going to turn a lot of heads in the state of Michigan. McCabe's poll came out this week. They were the #1 team in Division IV. Clearly, they'll start to get a target on their back. There's a couple of big OK Gold games coming up. Talk about that in a minute after this play. On 2nd down, Skewer swallowed up in the backfield by Liam Roney. Lost 2. That play diagnosed well by the Pioneers. In 2 weeks, Cedar Springs is the opponent. Figures to be a strong OK Gold challenge. And then, of course, in 4 weeks, the big showdown at East Kentwood with Catholic Central. So, if you're Danny Brown, how well are you able to keep kids focused? I mean, this team has rolled over 2 perennial difficult teams. How do you keep their focus?
Yeah, I mean, I think for those 2 games you just mentioned, Cedar Springs and Catholic Central, I don't think it's going to be tough for him to motivate him for those.
Down goes to Hahn as Roney again, along with Jeremy James, sacked him back at the 27. Just checked at the 32, a loss of 6, and for the first time tonight, Nate Brinks will be on to punt.
Yeah, I think for those 2 games you mentioned, Cedar Springs and Catholic Central, it's not going to be tough to motivate for those because they lost to both of them last year, if I'm correct. And so, I mean, those I think it's going to be easy for those guys to get up for that game. I think the rest of the conference games, I think might be a little bit tougher. But I mean, I always thought high school football. I mean, it's just a blast playing on Friday nights. I mean, I don't think it's going to be too tough for those guys to get up for those games either. And I think they seem motivated.
Beautiful punt by Nate Brinks. That's a 48-yard boot that drives Higgins all the way back to the 20. This was a textbook punt, the way it turned over in the spiral. And nice kick by Brinks, and East Grand Rapids will start from the 35. 1st and 10 with 7:36 to go.
That is about as good of a punt as you're going to see in high school. That was a boot.
Danny Brown starting to insert some backups now. At secondary has Nate Fenema at right corner. Tiesma still in the game at safety. James Vander Ark, number 9, also in the game. Mulder in line, still in linebacker, number 27. He's joined in the middle by Mitchell Lindhout. So a few backups getting in. I like this part of a game where a coach can insert some second-line guys with the starters, because there could be moments during the season where you do have to inject a player into the game due to an injury. It's good to have them able to play a few meaningful scrimmages with the starters.
Yeah, injuries are always a huge part of football. It's not the funnest part of football, that's for sure, but it almost always becomes a factor throughout the course of a football season. So, especially the 2 deep guys. I mean, everybody's important on a football team, but especially those 2 deep guys, those guys that can step in at any moment. Those are crucial guys on a football team, and in games like this, against still a starting offense, I'm assuming that's out there for East Grand Rapids, these are very valuable reps.
First and 10 from the 35 for Preston Bergstrom. He'll turn and give it to Drew Caswell. He gets to the edge, turns it upfield at the 40, out over the 40 to the 43. Jackson Hake was able to track him down at the 43, gain of 8, second down and 2. And this is where Daniel try to get that defense jacked up here and keep the Pioneers out of the end zone.
That was one of the only times all day, except for one of those reverse plays, that they've really been able to get outside of the tackles and get something kind of out there on a running play.
Caswell off right tackle as a first down. He tried to sidestep Lindhout. Really good form tackle by Mitchell to keep him from bouncing it outside. Into the game at the nose guard for South is 66 Dan Newick, 6'4", 195-pound junior. First and 10 from the 45. In motion is Ian McKeegan. Fake the jet sweep to him. Now give to Caswell. Tries to get to the edge. Gets a good block from McKeegan. Turns it upfield. Battles his way over the midfield stripe before Nathan Fenema stands him up at the 49. Gain of 6. Second and 4. All right, John. David Kuhl was up here earlier. I've got my grad degree from Western. I'm sitting next to two of the most celebrated Bronco athletes in recent memory. Give me a thought. Give me some hope for tomorrow night against Sparty. Can we pull off the upset? I'm sure that.
I think so. I mean, I can't. Is Michigan State ranked there? I think they're top 15, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or the top 20
16,
for sure.
Yep, 16.
Yeah, for sure, top 20. I mean, they got a good team. I think Western's got a chance. I mean, I visited. I visited the program in the spring. I went to one spring practice. I went to the spring game. They got a good team. They got a new starting quarterback, so we'll see how that goes. You know, that's always tough to be a first-year starter going against more of a veteran quarterback in what Michigan State has. But, yeah, I think they got a chance. They got a very good defense that's returning. I think they have almost all of their returning starters on defense. And I believe they had the #1 defense in the MAC, in the Mid-American Conference last year. So that'll help a lot. Defense is that'll help the offense as the more inexperienced group this year. So I think that's probably a key to the game on Friday night is to see how Western's defense can limit Michigan State's offense and give Western's offense a chance to kind of grow into the game a little bit.
That second down pass from Bergstrom to Collins was just off Nick Collins' fingertips, set up 3rd down and 6. And as Preston Bergstrom was about to run the play, he had 2 receivers in motion at once. You can't do that. Illegal procedure. Takes it from 3rd and 4 to 3rd and 9 back at the 46-yard line. So indeed, East Grand Rapids still with their starting unit in there. 5.5 to go here in the 4th quarter. In motion is Charlie Hoekstra. He'll get the handoff on the jet sweep. He's got some real estate. Slips out of a tackle at the 49, that of Vander Ark, and then wiggles his way past the first down marker to the 44, and Pioneers move the chains. That's where, we're seeing 10-half and post out of the game at the defensive end spot. And you've seen the difference those guys made earlier in the game, able to create the edge and turn those sweep plays in. These last couple of times, East has been able to get to the perimeter.
Yeah, that combined with the safety play, the aggressive safety play coming off of those edges was the reason they were so effectively stopping the run.
Bergstrom finds a seam after that fake jet sweep. He's hit there by Vander Ark. Hit hard, in fact. Matter of fact, that's our Bob's Collision hit of the game so far. Bob's Collision in the south end of Kent County. If you have an injury to your car, make sure Bob's Collision is the place you take it for the repair. Sponsor of our Bob's Collision hit of the game. Levied by James Vander Ark. 1st and 10 for the Pioneers with 4:20 to go. Tommy eludes a tackler at the 37 and spins his way inside the 30. Before it was Peyton Smith now into the game as a defensive back.
pretty good job by South student section with the pink out, don't you think?
Big time.
Everybody was bought in.
They sure did.
I don't see many kids up there without a pink shirt on, actually.
And hey, let's be honest, you got to give a lot of credit to the guys in the student section. I mean, they were told there was a pink out today, and they didn't hesitate. They responded. Came to play.
All in.
All in. That's right.
I wonder if some of those. Wonder if that's pink paint that some of the guys have their shirts off.
Third and 5. You know, it's a comfortable win when we start talking about pink outs in the student section, and that's the way it's been for the Sailors tonight. Bergstrom probably in 4-down territory for the Pioneers. Inside read option to Caswell. First down, but a flag comes in late. That'll probably be holding against the Pioneers. So, John, it's Labor Day weekend. You spent a good portion of your life just soaking up the experiences of football in college and high school right around this time of year. I remember going out to L.A. to see you make your debut against USC and, of course, watched many high school games on Labor Day weekend. As you get to this point in your days after football, what do you think more about on a Labor Day weekend, high school or college? What sort of pops into your mind? Because they're both so special, right? I mean, in different ways, they're just so meaningful.
Yeah, I think probably college in terms of Labor Day, just because that's when everything seems to kick off for college. That's probably what comes into my mind. Is college. But I know there were some games last week, I think, obviously with like Northwestern and Nebraska and several other games last week. But really that first big weekend in college football is Labor Day weekend, so that's probably what pops into my mind first.
On 3rd and long, Bergstrom tries a screen to Caswell. He gets back to the original line, so it'll be 4th and 10. I suspect Josh Shattuck will go for it. I'll tell you, remember that your debut as a starter out in the Coliseum. Got to be, 102 degrees that day? Hottest day I've ever watched a football game. Just incredible. What a great game that was.
Yeah,
had the Trojans on the rope.
Yeah, thankfully they have a grass surface, because turf would turn that 105 into 115. So thankful for grass.
4th down play. Here comes the Sailors with a blitz. Bergstrom will roll to the right, throws underneath to O'Malley. He's got it at the 26, but I think he's going to be short. I think that South Christian second defensive unit is going to walk off the field to Danny Brown's high fives, because they turn away the Pioneers in the final drive for East Grand Rapids, and now the South Christian offense can salt this one away. That is a morale booster right there, isn't it? When your second team defense turns back the East Grand Rapids starting offense.
Yeah, that's big, and I'm assuming some of those guys got playing time last week too in the game against Grand Rapids Christian, but that's huge for those second string guys that got in there.
Jake Vermas now in at quarterback, and South Christian will run 4 plays, and it is a fired up band of Sailors that are going to win against East Grand Rapids for the first time ever, and do it impressively tonight, 35-6 in a game that was close for about a quarter. And I would say, John, this score will open some eyes around not only West Michigan but the state too.
Yeah, I think so. Especially combined with last week's score. I think the combination of those two, last week and this week's score for South, will definitely solidify some people's opinions about them.
After the fumbled snap, 2nd and 15. Jackson Hake in the game at running back number 4. Stay with us after the game for the Van Solkema Family Farms post-game show. We'll recap the scoring quickly. Tim Chenoweth will provide John with all the stats. We'll summarize this one and tell you about next week as well. That's all ahead on the Van Solkema Family Farms post-game show. Be sure to check out MichiganSportsRadio.com for all the scores from around the area tonight. Recaps from Nick Turi. Up-to-date standings and schedule as well. All that on MichiganSportsRadio.com. Sailors' second team offense struggling a little bit here. Illegal motion as Brady Nitz tried to come into the game a bit late.
Penalty is illegal substitution against the Sailors.
Yeah, I know it was only one day difference from a normal week, but they had one less day to prepare, and usually that shows with the second stringers because you got to get your first string guys as many reps as possible to get them ready for the game, and it just doesn't leave as many reps for the second string guys.
Jackson Haig with a big run over right tackle, gets to the second and third level near the first down marker. Picked up 17 on the play, so fourth down and called 3. And Danny doesn't want to risk any good field position. He's going to send on the punt team. Nate Brinks will roll the clock down. East Grand Rapids next week opens OK White play against a pretty good Northview team. End over end boot. We'll check up at the 32, bounce back to the 38-yard line. That looks like your 9-iron into a tight postage stamp green from about 143 yards, right? Just checks up perfectly.
I wish. Yeah. How about you?
I probably would rely on a pitch and run and hope that, because I don't know if I can put any backspin on it, but I'll try to run it up there a little bit. I've not perfected the backspin after playing the game for 40 years. One more play. Scotty Millman into the game at quarterback for the Pioneers. And they'll just hand it off, and that's the way this one will end. South Christian 35, East Grand Rapids 6. An impressive win for the Sailors tonight. They moved to 2-0, dropped the Pioneers to 0-2. We'll tell you how it happened when we return on the Van Solkma Family Farms postgame show coming up on Michigan Sports Radio on the Sailor Zone.
Hello, West Michigan sports fans. I am Mark Kimball. I'm president of the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame. This is our 50th year. And in our 50th year, we like to sit around and chat about all the great things that have happened in the world of sports in our community. I need your help in helping me remember which of those athletes, teams, and events were the most important or the most fun for you to participate in. We're running a series of surveys that are asking for your input in identifying your favorite sporting event over the last 50 years. Some of my favorite events were the very first Whitecaps game or the very first Hoops game. What were your favorite events? And then I like to think about who are the best athletes that we've seen in the last 50 years, both from a female and a male perspective. And finally, tell me who your favorite team is and what they accomplished over the last 50 years. I look forward to hearing from you on your favorite sports memories.
Call it a sense of purpose, a higher calling. At Dean Transportation, we call it our passion. It's simply who we are. 60 years of pioneering the best health and safety standards because safe student transportation is essential. We are hard-working folks, connecting children to learning, schools to our communities, and you to a better career. Want to make Michigan a better place? We'll put you in the driver's seat. Join the Dean family today and help to connect our kids to brighter futures.
Welcome back to Memorial Field in East Grand Rapids on the shores of Reeds Lake, where tonight South Christian romps to a 35-6 win over East Grand Rapids. Welcome inside the Van Solkema Family Farms post-game show. For 5 generations, Van Solkema Family Farms has expanded and learned a lot over those years. Today, Van Solkema Family Farms grows and sources over 70 varieties of fresh fruits and vegetables in Michigan and Georgia, as well as Mexico, South America, and Canada. They are wholeheartedly committed to maintaining the highest standards in everything they do without compromise. It's a mission Van Solkema Family Farms holds near and dear to our hearts, and one set in writing over 100 years ago by Garrett Van Solkema. That's Van Solkema Family Farms. Thank also sponsors tonight, River Ridge Dentistry and Boulder Plumbing for their sponsorship of tonight's high school football game on Michigan Sports Radio. 35-6, the final. Sailors spotted the Pioneers, an early field goal by Nick Collins. Just 8 minutes into the game, made it 3-0 East Grand Rapids. That was set up by a Collins interception off a Jake DeHaan slant route, and that was really the last good defensive stop that East would make for quite a while. South Christian's offense really revved it into gear after that. They responded after that 3-0 deficit with a 73-yard drive capped by a 32-yard TD pass from DeHaan to Viss with 2 minutes to go in the first, made it 7-3. Another Collins field goal cut the gap to 7-6 with 11:10 to go in the second quarter. East Grand Rapids would get no closer, though, as the Sailors would score the next 28 points. DeHaan throwing 3 touchdown passes, 3 of them in the second quarter to take a 28-6 halftime lead. A 50-yarder to Brady Nitz made it 14-6 with 9 minutes to go in the first half. A 14-yard touchdown toss to Jake Vermas on a beautiful post route made it 21-6 with 7 minutes to go. And then in the final half minute of the first half, Jake found Brady Nitz again on an 8-yard TD toss to make it 28-6 at the break. Sailors would add a touchdown in the fourth quarter on Nate Brick's 15-yard run. 35-6 was the final. Brinks 5 for 5 on extra points. It is a happy band of Sailors down on the field doing something they've never done in high school history at South Christian, and that's defeat the East Grand Rapids Pioneers. John Wasik, the stats tonight really bore it out in the first half. The number you just gave to me that shocked me was 326 yards in total offense. South Christian sort of let off the gas in the second half, but it was indicative of an impressive win for South Christian.
Yeah, no doubt. And really the defense didn't really let up much at all in the second half for South. They held East Grand Rapids to 125 total yards all night. So held them to very few yards in the second half as well. 460 total yards of offense for South. That's an incredible night. The only thing that sticks out to me that could be better for South is eliminating those turnovers. But like we talked about during the game, those were good plays by East Grand Rapids. So nothing to be too concerned about going forward. Jake's going to take care of the ball. And, just an overall great night for South.
Individually tonight, some impressive numbers as well for the Sailors.
Yeah, DeHaan passing 15 of 19, 305 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. DeHaan again for rushing, 15 rushes for 96 yards. And Nitz, 4 catches, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. Vermas, 6 catches for 103 yards, 1 touchdown. Just an efficient night for many bodies all the way around. Bergstrom for East Grand Rapids, 10 for 18 passing, 65 yards. Caswell, 21 carries for 106 yards. And Collins had 4 receptions for 35 yards for East Grand Rapids.
The stat that jumps off at me, a number of them do, John, but the passing efficiency of Jake DeHaan. 17 of 22 last week, 15 of 19 this week. So you tally those up over 2 weeks. That's 32 out of 41 for 560 yards in 2 weeks. 32 out of 41, so he's completing passes right now at nearly an 80% clip. And that's really good. And I think we saw it tonight, just throwing dimes all night long into receivers that were running crisp routes, and the throws allowed yards after catch too, because he led his receivers perfectly when he needed to.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most impressive thing about Jake tonight was just the ball placement. Not only that they were catchable balls, but they were put in exactly the right spot to allow the guys to make plays afterwards. And football is a team game. I mean, this was just a complete game by South, and just a great job up front by both the offensive and defensive lines, and then, made a lot of plays, and just a great game.
What does this do in your estimation? You've been with this program for a long time. I've watched it for a long time as well, and I realize at the end of the season we look back and it's just another W. But what are your thoughts on the significance of this game tonight? And let's be candid. I don't think this is the best East Grand Rapids team. They're 0-2. They've taken it on the chin to a couple of opponents now. But John, it's still East Grand Rapids, and it's still a tradition-rich program with a lot of good coaching and good athletes. What's your assessment of just the significance of the win tonight for South Christian?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway in terms of that stuff for me is just the mental side of this football team. I think, like you talked about, just going against a very perennial powerhouse program like East Grand Rapids, even if it's not their best team, just that mental block sometimes of going against a very good program can be tough. And I think it just shows the mental resolve of the South Christian football team. I think it shows you the poise that they have. I think it shows you the confidence that they have in themselves. And I think it's an impressive victory.
That was a beautiful night here at Memorial Field. The weather was perfect. Great crowd on hand. East Grand Rapids fans still being entertained by their drum line to wrap this night up. And just a terrific night of high school football, particularly if you are a South Christian Sailor fan, because this program did what they've never done, and that's knock off a solid, outstanding, tradition-rich program in East Grand Rapids. All right, East Grand Rapids moves on to open OK White play next week against Northview. South Christian opens up OK Gold play back at East Kentwood next Friday night against Ottawa Hills. That'll be the pregame tailgate party put on by the Sports Boosters as well. Be sure to check that out before the game. Should be a fun time, and a game obviously that South will be heavily favored to win and can get off on the right track in the OK Gold. I'll miss next couple of games, John, so Joey Sutherland will be alongside you next week, and then of course the week after that, big showdown with Cedar Springs as we move through the OK Gold season and really crescendo toward that September 30th tilt with Grand Rapids Catholic Central. But first things first, next week it's Ottawa Hills after tonight's convincing win. I want to thank Tim Chenoweth for doing his usual great job on the stats. Todd Scrotenborough as our producer tonight. Brock Conkle, executive producer of Michigan Sports Radio. Todd, of course, with a great job for the Sailor Zone. John, kudos to you for your 2022 debut in the booth. It'll be great working with you this year on what could be a very special season for South Christian. That'll do it for all those guys and our wonderful sponsors. Once again, the final score. South Christian 35, East Grand Rapids 6. This is Bob Sachs saying so long, everybody. Have a great Labor Day weekend.